The current points leader in the division, starting on the pole of this heat race, the Blaine Miller Road Service Double B Garage Pawnbrokers Honda will bring the field to green next time around. 55 of Kyle Carlson from Homer Glen, Illinois. The Carlson Motorsports Chevrolet starting from the second position. 66 of Greg Isbell from Trenton, Ohio in the third starting position. Vors Welding and Steel Izzy Racing Pontiac, the field picking up the pace. They head to turn 4, and the 40th running of the Winchester 400 race weekend is underway. Green is out on the Vors Welding and Steel Compacts. Into the lead goes the number 13 of Shelmadine. Isbell to the bottom in turn number 2, looking to move forward the 66 of Greg Isbell as they head to turn number 3. Side by side throughout the field, the first of 8 laps to be completed at the line this time. And leading will be the number 13 of Shelmadine, but a challenge coming from the inside from Trenton, Ohio driver Greg Isbell in trouble. Second fast and the fastest qualifiers get together, able to spin it around and avoid heavy contact. The 177 of Richardson, he's going to be able to pull away from the scene. He gets it fired and starts to move. And just minor damage, I think, as well on top qualifier Kyle Crump's number 7 car. Isbell on the inside, Shelmadine in the outside lane, ready for a restart. 1 complete, 7 to go. Our first race of the weekend, the Vors Welding and Steel Compact 8-lap heat. To the green, coming off of turn number 4. We have them 3 wide on the front stretch. Halinga drops to the bottom with Isbell in the middle. Halinga drops back into line. Up front, the 13 of Shelmadine holding on to the lead and looking later tonight in the feature, trying to hold on to the championship. He slides up the banking. Isbell will move forward on the inside lane. At the stripe, Shelmadine still leads. Lap number 2 in the 13 car. Rick James running 3rd. Brian Martin running 4th. On the move is the number 7 of top qualifier Kyle Crump. He's going for the number 4 position on the inside of Martin. Halinga nearly gets into the wall. They continue to stay green. 3 in, 5 to go for car number 66, Greg Isbell. James in the second spot, and Kyle Crump, the youngster, in car number 7. Some solid races lately, including his win at Lucas Oil Raceway a couple of weeks ago. He's now moving into the number 3 spot. He's still involved in this possible win in a heat. And Crump will take the 3rd spot away from the 13 of Shelmadine. 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th drop single file. Here comes the 14 of Martin to the inside of Shelmadine now. Five complete, 3 to go. It will be 2 to go next time by, and the 7 of Crump is closing. Quickly into turn 3, 3-car battle up front now. Isbell sees the 2 to go signal, but he's got some strong challengers right behind him. Does Crump have time? Brings it into turn 1 a little bit sideways. Might be his last weekend of compact racing. Wants to move up next year. To the inside for the lead. Here comes Rick James for the number 1 spot. Into turn number 3 for the number 1 spot. First race of the weekend. Already a battle on the final circuit of an event. 3 wide for the number 1 position. Here comes Crump to the bottom. Kyle Crump brings it into turn 1 sideways. Loses some momentum. Here comes James back. The driver on the outside, Rick James, in the 101 car from Elyria. Here's Crump on the inside. How will they come off of turn number 4 will determine the winner. James, a pretty good exit of turn 4, and Rick James will pick up the win as they rub across the line. Crump in the number 2 spot, and a pretty good way to get us started for the 40th running of the Winchester 400 race weekend. An exciting Vors Welding and Steel Compact heat that has the 101 of Elyria, Ohio driver Rick James claiming the victory. 81 car, Phil Iliff on the pole, that Vors Welding and Steel Mitsubishi, with the 31 of Vester starting alongside. Vester was involved in a practice crash earlier today. 114 of Joseph Jennings spun coming off of turn number 4. Investor nowhere to go. Got collected. Iliff Investor to the green coming off of turn number 4. 8 laps, second heat race. Well, the compact division is underway. '31 car of Vester goes into the lead coming off of turn number 2 going into turn 3. Oh, trouble on the front stretch. Around goes the 85 of Iliff. Great, backing into the wall, the 90 of Jeff Hopkins. Phil Iliff in the 85 did a great job to keep it off the wall. It looked like he was going to slap the wall, driver's side impact, and he locked it down, straightened the car out, and avoided any impact until he collected another car that had nowhere to go. Pace truck dropping into the infield this time, and Brent Downey will come in on the inside, driving the Bigelow number 4 on the inside of J.R. Vester. Vester leading in the 31 as the 4 of Downey drops into the second spot. Downey a little bit better entering turn number 3. Car pushes up the banking a little bit. The 07 of Vore running in the third spot. 44 of Bigelow in fourth. And dropping off the pace and heading to the infield will be the 85 of Phil Iliff. For the second spot with 3 laps to go. It's the 07 of Vore to the inside of Brent Downey. And Vore drops off the pace coming off of turn number 2. Steve Vore in the 07, while racing for second, has dropped off the pace and will make his way, it looks like, to the infield. Caution will come out for the 07 car of Steve Vore. Two to go for the 4 of Downey and the 31 of Vester, and they're back underway. White flag, final circuit. Vester a little bit sideways, Downey up the banking in the middle of 1 and 2 as they will come to the checkered flag in the second and final Vore's Welding CRA Compact Heat Race of the night. Vester comes off of turn number 4, sees the checkered, and comes across the line with a victory. Brent Downey with a runner-up finish. 99 of Hopkins moves up to the inside of the front row with a 72 of Parker starting outside. 15-lap event for the All-Stars and the Sullivan RV CRA Late Model Sportsman. 6 cars, the other ones electing to use the early laps as a hot lap session. Here we go to the green. Mark Parker into the lead in the 72 car. Damon Eckhoff into the second spot. Hopkins drops to third. Running fourth is Atkinson. To the outside, Atkinson looking for third on the outside of Hopkins. He will take the third spot away. For the lead, Damon Eckhoff on the inside of Parker. Side by side for the lead. Eckhoff on the bottom, Parker on the outside lane. Both have won CRA Super Series or CRA Sportsman races in yellow. Comes out, caution out, rain coming down pretty heavy. Here we go with Parker on the bottom. Green is back out. 2 laps in, 13 to go, and Eckhoff into the lead again. Here comes Charlie Hanna to the high side. Charlie Hanna to the outside lane. He will move into the second spot. Jason Atkinson moves into third. Casey Spillers will take fourth. Fred Hopkins running the bottom right behind Parker. We'll let Parker fall into line. For the second position, Charlie Hanna and Jason Atkinson. Picking up a pretty sizable lead in just a couple of laps is at 15 of Damon Eckhoff. Damon Eckhoff from Greenfield, Indiana with a big lead. Build up on Jason Atkinson. Eckhoff in that CRA Late Model Sportsman car has been very strong in recent events. Atkinson trying to close the gap. The 7 of Atkinson ran a better lap time last time by. This time he runs another better lap time. He's about a 10th quicker. Jason Atkinson in the number 7, about a 10th quicker per circuit than the 15 of Damon Eckhoff. Will it be enough time to catch him? He picks up a lot of ground going into 3 before the car bottoms out some. 7 laps in, 8 to go. We will be halfway. This time by coming up, Eckhoff giving up some ground. Nearly 2/10 quicker that lap was the 7 of Atkinson. You can see him closing the gap. Halfway signal, 8 laps in, 7 to go for Damon Eckhoff. Jason Atkinson holding on to second. Oh, Casey Spillers nearly spun in turn 2. He keeps on going. Those Spillers hangs on to it. 6 to go. 6 to go for the 15 of Damon Eckhoff. Atkinson is closing quickly. Down to about 6 car lengths to the leader. 5 to go for the Greenfield, Indiana driver. Atkinson into the wall in the 7 car. Jason Atkinson in the 7 into the wall. Atkinson looked like something breaking or a tire going down on his car as he went into turn 1. We saw him bottoming out going into 3 a little earlier, and then some sparks flew, but there, contact for the number 7 of Atkinson. Ready for the restart. Here comes Eckhoff and Hanna to the green. They go into the first and second turn, trying to make sure not to spin the tires. Probably a little bit careful because of the raindrops falling from the sky. 4 laps to go for Eckhoff. Great season of sportsman racing for him this year. And he leads with just 4 to go. Less than 4 to go now. 3.5 for the 15 of Eckhoff. 2 laps to go for the 15. 2 laps to go for the 15 of Damon Eckhoff. Oh, Casey Spiller slaps the wall but keeps on going. White flag this time for the 15 of Damon Eckhoff. Final circuit, and he has a huge lead build up. He could coast on this final circuit. Hannah trying to hold off the 72 of Parker. Coming to the checkered flag, Damon Eckhoff picks up the victory in the All-Star Dash 15-lapper. Charlie Hannah second. Mark Parker comes home third. Fourth spot will go to Fred Hopkins in the 99. And also with problems towards the end of the event, the 38 of Casey Spillers. He slapped the wall with about 2 laps to go and retired 1 lap early. So the All-Star Dash race for the Sullivan RV CRA Late Model Sportsman complete. 15 laps in the books, and Damon Eckhoff claims the victory. '07, your 5th place starter, Tom Jewell from Vandalia, Michigan. The Bellman Oil, Wings Etc., Club Power Sports, Martin Supermarket car, and the 26 of Jeff Lane. Lane just put up a top 5 qualifying effort for the Super Series. Ready for green coming off of turn number 4. 6 laps the distance, $600 to win. Nothing for 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, or 6th, and we're underway at Winchester. Into the lead goes the 11 of Nestor. He got the better start. The 7 of Tomasic going for the runner-up spot on the inside of Tim Burkett. Side by side for the runner-up position heading to turn 3. Tomasic on the inside. Burkett on the outside as Nestor pulls away. The first of many races and many laps tonight here at Winchester Speedway. The 11 of Nestor across the line, 2 laps down. Nestor, Tomasic, Poole, Burkett, Lane, and the 07 car of Tom Jewell. Jeff Lane ready to make a move on Tim Burkett for the number 4 position. Lane looking to the low side of Burkett for 4th. Leading is Brian Nestor. He's won here on the high banks before. Four down. A couple to go, a lap and a half now for Brian Nestor. Lane looking to the inside of Burkett down in turns 3 and 4. White flag. Final circuit for Brian Nestor. Nestor down the backstretch. Just 2 turns and half a straightaway away from $600 to get him started on this Saturday night. And Brian Nestor claims the victory. Tomasic second, Poole third, Lane 4th, 5th spot to the 14 of Burkett, and claiming 6th, the 07 of Tom Jewell. Next time to the green for the 27 of Josh Poore. The 72 of Frank Kimmel II, the son, of course, of the legendary ARCA racer Frank Kimmel. The 9 of Carl Muffley, the 11 of Jimmy Kirby. 10 laps the distance. Edco Welding CRA Street Stock All-Star Dash Race off of turn number 4 to the green. Sideways into turn 1 is Josh Poore. He's able to hang on to it, and into the lead goes Frank Kimmel II. Poore holds on to 2nd, battle for 3rd. It will be Muffley dropping into single file formation. Kimmel, Poore, Kirby, Muffley, 1st through 4th. The New Stars races for the Edco Welding Street Stocks and the Sullivan RV CRA Late Model Sportsman coming our way next. They are additional makeup races from last night's program, and Kimmel leads by 4 car lengths over the 27 of Poor. He's sideways, fighting a free condition. Here comes Kirby to the bottom. Here comes the 9 of Muffley as well, and Josh Poor is off the pace in the 27. Frank Kimmel II continues to extend his lead in this all-star dash race for the Edco Welding Street Stocks. Later tonight, these drivers will be back out with many more for their feature. It will be halfway this time. 5 laps in. 5 more laps to go for the 72 of Frank Kimmel II. Kimmel leading Kirby, leading Muffley. He's in 3rd, and Poor running in the 4th spot. 4 to go. The 11 of Kirby was a 10th quicker the last lap by, but a lot of ground to make up if he's only picking up a 10th per lap for Kirby, the Indianapolis driver. See how much better he is this time by than Frank Kimmel II, the leader. Again, it was about a 10th, but really hard to even see him picking up any ground on the raceway. 2 to go this time for Frank Kimmel II. A lap and a half for Kimmel, Kirby, Muffley, and Poor. The Sullivan RV CRA Late Model Sportsman New Star event coming up next. The white waving final circuit for Frank Kimmel II. Off of turn number 4, Kimmel coast into the 4th corner. Can bring it across the line with victory. In the All-Star Dash race, Frank Kimmel II wins. Kirby 2nd, Muffley 3rd. Finishing 4th is Josh Poor. The Mars Trucking Custom Color Collision Scholler Valley Foods Chevrolet car number 72 coming to the front straightaway off of quarter 4. Picked up a win in street stock competition with the division earlier this season at Lucas Oil Raceway. In their New Stars race that is being made up from last night's rainout. 10 cars, 20 laps. The 18, a sportsman car that's just going to get a few laps to make sure that the car is okay for the feature later. Mark Lambert's had some big-time issues with that car in qualifying. Somehow he was able to keep it out of the wall. It was definitely out of control. Roger Northrup Jr. from Niles, Michigan on the pole. The 11 of Alex Vonderow on the outside in green off of turn number 4, 20 laps the distance. Into turn number 2, Vonderow into the lead. Northrup drops to 2nd. Here comes the 66 of Nate Wilson into the 3rd spot. Wilson running the low side. 51 of Woodring running around the top of the track in the 66, moving up into the 2nd spot at the line, Nate Walton. Walton into 2nd. Oh, that 18 car, Lambert, sounds like it shut off on the front stretch. That did not sound good. Hopefully he shut it down himself. Your leader, the 11 of Vonderow. .66 to the bottom. Here comes Nate Walton for the lead. Vonderow on the outside. Walton on the inside lane. It's going to be Walton using the bottom groove to take the top spot for lap 3. Richardson for 2nd. Vonderow back to 3rd. As Chad Richardson has moved into the number 2 spot. Vonderow back to 3rd. Cook moving up. He's up to 4th in the 8. problems earlier in qualifying for the number 8 of Dean Cook, but the 2011 late model champion from Bearfield Speedway is up into the top 5, running 4th, and he's looking for 3rd off of turn number 2. Dean Cook on the inside of Vondero. 5 laps in, 15 to go as Richardson starts to reel in the race leader. Richardson about a 10th quicker the last time by in that 46 car than the 66 of Walton. Some side-by-side racing just out of the top 5. The number 9 of Lucas Crick running the low side. Woodring holding on to 6th in the 51. Oh, Richardson lost a lot of ground coming off of 2 in the 46. Something with the 46 of Richardson. Just got out of control a little bit, lost his rhythm, but Richardson lost a few car lengths coming off of the turn and was 7/10 slower than the leader the last time by. Walton holding on to the lead. Richardson running 2nd, running 3rd is Cook. In the 4th spot, Vondero running 5th, the 29 of Northrop. Crick in 6th, Woodring in 7th. In the 8th spot is Parker. 9th is Brown in the 35, and rounding it out, the 41 car of Jack Oliver. Richardson again, after having the 1 bad lap and losing a lot of ground, is closing on the 66 of Walton. Halfway this time, 10 laps in, 10 laps to go. Down to a couple of car lengths for Richardson. In 3 and 4, about a car length separates the lead duo. Nate Walton and Chad Richardson at the front of the pack, all by themselves. Half straightaway lead over Dean Cook. Nearly a straightaway advantage for those 2 drivers as he just exits 2 as they enter 3. 8 laps to go. Trouble on the backstretch. Big trouble on the back straightaway. James Brown in the 35. Lucas Crick in the number 9. Heavy impact in turn number 3. Kind of an odd place for a big mishap, but one that does take place in turn number 3. It looked like the 9 of Crick was turned around. The 35 of Brown with nowhere to go. We will stop the field and let the cleanup take place and the safety crews to get in position in turn number 3. Richardson on the inside, Walton on the outside. Walton was the leader. Richardson was closing in before the caution. Can he make the pass on the bottom for the restart? 6 cars left, 8 laps remaining. Green is back out, a good restart off of turn number 4, and Walton will resume as the leader. Richardson fights back to the inside, pulls forward by a half car length. Vondero checks up in the 11 back in the field, might fall out of the top 5. Side by side they continue, and Richardson's going to be the leader coming to the completion of lap number 13. Chad Richardson in the 46 has taken the point. Richardson out front. Walton falls to 2nd. Dean Cook runs 3rd, and Woodring is in the number 4 spot. 6 laps left. Six remaining, now 5.5 to go for the 46 of Chad Richardson. Five to go, signal given for the 46 of Richardson. Right up along the wall, pulling away from the 66 of Nate Walton and the 8 of Dean Cook. 4 to go this time. These are makeup events from one night ago with the rain out last night. 17 laps complete, 2.5 to go now for the 46 of Richardson. Walton, Cook, Woodring, and Vonderow. 2 to go. Final circuit, white flag. Last lap for the 46 of Chad Richardson. Walton still several car lengths back, cuts it down a little bit in 3 and 4. I think Richardson coasting to the line, brings it across to the checker. Chad Richardson, the winner of the New Stars 20 lapper at Winchester Speedway for the Sullivan RV CRA Late Model Sportsman Division. Walton second, Cook third, Woodring fourth, finishing 5th is Vonderow, and 6th is Parker in the 110. One to go signal displayed. Up next, the USA Modifieds. The USA Modified Division in their first of 2 last chance races coming up next. 12 laps the distance in those. There will be 6 transfer cars in each of those 2 events. It'll be like watching 2 feature events added to the program with the USA Modified Stellar Field this weekend. A.J. Reidner in the 96, Courtney Hanna in the 34 to the green flag. We are off and racing for 25 circuits. Side by side, Hanna in the 34, edges ahead into the lead. .34 of Hanna, the advantage at the line. She leads lap number 1 by inches over the 96 of Reidner. Hanna into the lead. Dropping into second is Reidner. Oakes is third. Look at Hadley. Look at Gosser. They're side by side. Coming up on the number 2 of Danny Smith. To the inside for second. Here comes Oakes. Frankie Oakes looking to the outside, right on the rear bumper of A.J. Reidner. Oh, Oakes gets in hard to turn 3. A little bit of contact with the 96 of Reidner. They continue going. Gosser in the 29, Smith in the number 2 side by side. Good racing at the tail end of our top 5. And here comes Oakes again in the 26 on the bottom side. Leading is Hanna, and while the 2nd through 5th and 6th place cars are battling, she's pulling away. 4 laps in, 21 to go. Danny Smith on the outside lane, the number 2 car into the 3rd spot. Oakes is now sliding back on the inside, and Gosser is caught behind him. Reidner still second. 5 complete, 20 to go. Single file formation throughout the pack now. Back to Joshua Carroll and Barkas as they battle deep in the pack. And Gosser picks up a spot from the 26 of Oakes. He is now in 6th. Hadley on the inside of Danny Smith for the 3rd spot. Kyle Hadley on the inside of Smith will move up into the number 3 position. Smith back to 4th. Marsh now running in 5th. Marsh needed the bump start to get him going before the start of the race, but is running pretty well during the course of the event, but now will give up a spot to the 29 of Tom Gosser. Hanna continues to extend her lead. The last thing she wants to see is a yellow. And here comes Hadley to the inside and quickly takes 2nd away from A.J. Reidner. So now Hadley, who is a little bit quicker than Courtney Hanna, see how long it takes for him to close in on Hanna. Gosser in the 29 moves up to 4th. Smith back to 5th, holding off Marsh right now. Hanna leading Running second is Hadley, but Hannah that time was about 4.5 tenths slower than the number 12 of Kyle Hadley. For third, Tom Gosser, who was held up earlier. Gosser to the inside of the 96 of Reidner for the third position. Hannah losing ground, and now she skips off the wall in the back stretch and gives up all of the ground that she had built up over the number 12 of Hadley. Hadley is there. Hadley is there in second. Looks to the inside of Hannah for the lead going into turn one. Will be halfway the next time around. Hadley takes over the race lead coming off of turn number 2. Hannah back to second. But if she keeps it in the right direction, a great shot at a second or a third place finish as the cross flags will go up this time. 13 in, 12 laps to go for Kyle Hadley, Courtney Hannah, Tom Gosser, AJ Reidner, and Danny Smith. Running 6th currently Tyler Marsh, running 7th Frankie Oakes, running 8th the 33 of Mason, 9th is Amos, 10th is the 19 of Carroll, 11th the 16 of Campbell. Last car on the lead lap is Campbell in the 16. Just going down a lap is the 50 of Barkas. Kyle Hadley in car number 12 from Louisville, Kentucky. The Working Western Wear, Pro Tent, Boot Lake Barbecue, Terry Satellite Chevrolet leads lap number 15, 10 laps to go. Closing on slower traffic, the 16 will move over one way or another to allow the 12 of Hadley to go by, and he looks to the inside of Campbell and will try to put the 16 down a circuit. Gosser on the inside of Hannah, side by side for the second spot, and Tom Gosser might be out front at this point had he not got caught up in the wrong lane early in the race and get shuffled back over the first few circuits. But Gosser is up to second, back to third, the 34 of Hannah. Seven laps to go for Kyle Hadley. Hadley leading, Gosser in second. They both ran nearly identical laps last time. This time, close to the same lap time once again. "20 laps in, 20 laps in, 5 to go." Hadley sideways coming off of 4 that time. Hadley up the track in turn 4, Gosser closing. Hadley lost 3 tenths that time to Tom Gosser. Hadley really shot up the banking in the middle of 3 and 4 last circuit, and we're getting down to the last few laps. 3 laps to go at the line for Hadley, and Gosser is closing. Could we have another magical finish of just about every race like we normally see here on the high banks at Winchester? Gosser, though, gets sideways coming off at 2. He's going to give some of that ground back. Hadley working around the 19 of Carroll. 2 to go signal. 2 to go for Hadley. 3 car lengths separate the leader and second. Down to a car length in the middle of 1 and 2. A lap and a half to go. This time we'll see the white flag. Louisville, Kentucky driver Kyle Hadley leading, but Tom Gosser has caught him. Final circuit. White flag, last lap for Hadley. Into turn number 2, Gosser running a little bit lower. He's going to make a run at Hadley going into turn 3. Will he drive it in deep and try to pull up alongside? Hadley protects the lower lane a little bit. They come to turn 4. Gosser looks to the bottom. They come to the stripe, and Hadley picks up the victory. Gosser comes across the stripe in second, third to Carroll, fourth to Hannah. Coming across the line in fifth is Marsh, sixth is Ridner, seventh is Smith. Oakes comes home eighth. Amos off of turn 4 will be ninth, and Barkus in the 50 will finish in the number 10 position. Came right down to the final couple of circuits, just as they always do here at Winchester Speedway, despite a couple of leaders having big leads during the course of the race. The 39 of Dave Christensen starting on the inside lane, one of the drivers coming to us from Michigan here this weekend. As the white flag waves and we're one lap away from the start of this 12-lap last chance, we move to the outside lane and the red number 72 car of Mike Mays from Fort Wayne, Indiana. Mays in the Napa Auto Parts JC Automotive car on the high lane, starting in the 10th position. Starting 11th is car number 89. That's Daryl Skaggs. The Fire Bottle Suppression Systems Winchester Speedway car, the number 6, is driven by Chris Jennings from Richmond, Indiana, the D&J RV sales car. Rounding out our starting field will be the white number 6 on the outside lane, Jerry Hammond, the Harlan Donuts Fort Wayne driver. As the green is out, the other Jennings in car number 8 starting towards the tail of the field, as well as the number 1 of Rob Young. And green is out, but yellow is back on the lighting system. Caution is out, and it will be a complete restart. Mike Stacy and Matt Bainbridge to the green. Turn number 4. Look them over again. They start to pick up the pace, and the green is out. They pull back to side by the line. Stacy up the banking. Bainbridge checks up a little bit. The battle is for third. On the inside lane, the number 1 car of Oakley. On the outside is Burba. Burba in the 3rd spot. Oakley 4th. Running 5th is Johnson. Running 6th is Stearns. Stearns holding on to the final transfer spot. Battle for 7th between the 72 of Mays and the 09 of Skaggs. Lap number 2 complete of a scheduled 12, and leading is Stacy, starting to pull away from Bainbridge in the 88 car. Mike Stacy with numerous feature wins here on the high banks of Winchester, but tonight qualifying 17th, one out of a locked-in spot during time trials. And Stacy rolling right through the middle of the corners, looking good, and he can use this as sort of a tune-up session for the feature later tonight. Stacy up to a 7-car length lead over Bainbridge. Burba strong in 3rd. 4th is Oakley. 5th is Johnson. 6th is Stearns. Running 7th is Mays. In the 8th spot is Skaggs. 9th is Jennings. 10th is Christensen. 11th, the 41 of Weatherhead. 12th is Daryl Skaggs in the 89. Off the pace, dropping to the low side, down in turn number 4, the number 8 car of Joe Jennings from Richmond, Indiana, the D&J Mobile Homes car, retiring from the weekend. Halfway this time, 6 laps in. 6 laps to go for the number 4 car of Mike Stacy. Burba drops off the pace a little bit in 1 and 2, loses several car lengths to the 2nd place competitor of Bainbridge. Also Mays in the 72, exited turn number 2, nearly got up into the wall but kept on going. He leads a pack of 6 cars. Closing on slower traffic is Mike Stacy, the leader. It will be 4 laps to go this time for Stacy, the Springfield, Ohio driver, as he goes around the number 1 of Rob Young. Stacy with a 10-car length lead on Bainbridge. Single file formation till we get out of the top 6. The top 6 look to be pretty stout right now. Doesn't look like anyone will challenge them for a transfer spot. Stacy leads that group. Bainbridge 2nd, Burba 3rd, Oakley 4th, Herb Johnson Jr. 5th, and Stearns is 6th. And he has a big lead built up on the 7th place car of Mays. Into turn number 3, rolling to 4. White flag this time for the number 4 of Mike Stacy. 1 lap left for the Stacy's Flooring number 4. Into turn 3. Final half a straightaway to go, and Mike Stacy wins. Last chance number 1 for the USA Modifieds. Bainbridge 2nd, Burba 3rd, Oakley 4th, Johnson 5th, and Stearns blows up just as he finished in the 6th spot. He was a transfer car. If the 15 of Stearns is unable to go for the feature, I think that would move the 72 car of Mike Mays into the final transfer spot as Stearns blows up, coming to the line on the final circuit. Sportsman Tour for CRA. Hudson from Elsie, Michigan, the Wind Pusher Racing and Fab Outlaw Shock Dyno Service car, 4th. The number 2 driven by Shane Shirk. Columbus Motor Speedway point champion this season from Springfield, Ohio, the Maplewood Tree Service car in the 5th starting position. There's Herb Johnson in the number 10 starting in the 6th position. Johnson in car number 10 starting 6th. Starting 7th, the 2B of Brent Martin from Angola, Indiana, the Stroh Fix-It and Hardware car, as the 1 to go signal is displayed before the start of the 2nd and final last chance. The number 68 car on the outside of row number 4 is driven by Steve Rollins, driver from Michigan, the Kiger Mustang Company automobile. To the inside lane we go, the 14 of Jason Mahaffey, one of the top competitors from the Killcare Speedway, also one of the track promoters from Shady Bull Speedway. The number 88 of Travis Stepp from Winnemac, Indiana, the Performance Plus Landrum Springs car on the outside lane. 24 of Corey Setzer on the inside, the 07 of Jewel on the outside, the 80 of Baxter inside lane. To the outside lane, the 6 of Oberlin, and the remaining starters, the number 22 of Bisaki. Green is out. We're underway for the 2nd and final last chance event. The leader is Tim Burkett in car number 14. Man falls into 2nd. Running 3rd is Minnick. Running 4th is Hudson. 3 wide with Shirk on the bottom. He loses a couple of spots. Drops back into line and still losing ground on the inside lane. Shirk has been uncomfortable in the outside groove all weekend. Was really stout in 2011 at Columbus Motor Speedway. And Burkett's lead is huge, coming off of turn 4 to complete lap 2. Into the wall went the 14 car of Mahaffey. He's slowly rolling turn number 2. He got up into the outside retaining wall rolling through turn 2. A solo car accident in the 2nd turn. A 14 of Tim Burkett leading the race. Man is 2nd. Minnick is 3rd. 4th is Hudson. 5th is Johnson. The 2 of Martin is 6th. After the caution for Jason Mahaffey, the field is ready for a restart. Single file formation to turn 4, and we are back underway at Winchester. Burkett leads the field off of turn number 2. Man in the 2nd spot, a few car lengths back. The 37 of Minnick running 3rd. 3 in, 9 to go. And we're single file. The final transfer car is the number 2 of Martin right now. And Martin has a few car lengths already on the number 68 of Rollins. Four laps complete, 8 to go. Burkett leading the field and pulling away as he did before the first caution flag came out. 5 laps down, 7 to go. Shane Shirk in 8th, racing for 7th. He dropped to the low side of Rollins, and we are halfway. 6 in, 6 to go. Laps from the finish, and really no challenges coming until just now. Rollins has caught the 2 of Martin. Rollins and the 68 looking to the low side of Martin for the final transfer spot. the 6th position, the important spot. And right now, Martin holds it in the 2, and Rollins wants it in the 68. Rollins looking high, will drop low. Coming off of 4, now he's right on the rear bumper of Martin. 4 laps to go. If those two make a mistake, Shane Shirk in the number 2 will try to pounce. Burkett, this race in control for him, nearly a half straightaway lead. Cars going through 1 and 2 cleanly. Did see a battle now. Baxter sideways in the 80. He nearly went down and hit the inside retaining wall, but he is able to steer out of it. Keeps on going in the right direction, and 2 to go. 2 to go this time for the 14 of Burkett. Oh, look out, man who is in second has spun into the infield. Caution is out. Second place competitor Jacob Mann, all by himself, has spun coming off of 2, and that's going to move the 7th place car of Steve Rollins into a transfer spot for the restart. Green flag off of turn number 4, 2 laps to go for Tim Burkett. Shane Shirk taking a look to the bottom, not able to make a run at the 68 car of Rollins. He holds on to the 6th and final transfer spot in the red and yellow 68. White flag. Pulling away again from the field. He was by far the quickest of the cars in this last chance, and he will bring home the victory and head to the feature later. Minnick does as well. So does Hudson, Johnson, Martin, and Rollins, the top 6. Finishing 7th, 1 spot out of a transfer spot. The number 2 of Shane Shirk, the 88 of Stepp. Stepp in the 88 will make it with a provisional. The 24 car of Corey Setzer. The 22 of Basaki. The 6 car of Justin Oberlin among the cars that finished towards the tail of the pack in our second and final last chance race for the USA Modifieds. 3. Car number 66 is Greg Isbell from Trenton, Ohio. Isbell on the inside lane, and starting alongside will be the 77 car of Jacob Wyman from Noblesville in the purple and orange automobile. The car number 14 on the inside lane is Brian Martin from Monroeville, Indiana. On the outside, the 31 of J.R. Vester as we round down our field for compact 25-lap season championship feature makeup race from last night. 24 of Aaron Teagarden, 85 of Phil Iliff, the 90 of Jeff Hopkins, the number 4, and rounding out our field as we come to green for 25 circuits. We're underway. It's the 95 of Kerry Abril toward the back of the field, the yellow car, and the 58 of Brian Redmond also making a start at the tail. Off the pace is Isbell in the 66. 66 of Isbell pulling into the infield on the back stretch. To lap number 1, leading is the 33 of Justin Brown. He's one of the competitors for the points. He was second in the points coming in. The point leaders running second make that third. The 13 of Jeff Shelmadine. Shelmadine trying to hold on to the championship lead in the yellow and blue 13 car, but losing positions, nearly falling to the tail end of the top 5. Leading lap number 2, Justin Brown. Also on the move, the red and blue number 7 car of Kyle Crump. Also the 77 of Jacob Wyman moving forward. He's to third. Shelmadine to the inside of Halinga for the 4th spot. 25 laps the distance and a point championship to be decided tonight as well in this division. 3 laps complete and leading the 33 of Justin Brown. Second, the 14 of Brian Martin, running third, the 77 of Wyman, and Wyman is closing on Martin. Here comes Crump in the 7. Crump has picked up back-to-back wins in CRA compact competition, looking to make it 3 in a row here this weekend. For the lead, Martin has taken over the spot from Brown. Brown back to third. The point leader, Shelmadine, in that battle with Brown for the championship. They also battle for third in the race. This on lap number 5, and Shelmadine takes over third. Crump to fourth. I think Crump, the car on the move. Car to keep the eyes on, the number 7 of Crump. Crump, fast qualifier this weekend in the number 7 car. A lot of passing early on in the first 5 circuits. This will be lap number 6 complete. The leader, Monroeville, Indiana's Brian Martin in car number 14. Crump now, who came into this race third in points, to the inside of Shelmadine for third position. Shelmadine holds him off right now as he tries to just salvage a decent finish and claim the championship. The 13 of Shelmadine. Right now he would be in line for it. Crump again looking low for the third spot. Can't keep the momentum up quite enough to make the run on Shelmadine. And Wyman doing what he can to close on the 14 of Martin. Closing on slower traffic, the 07 of Orr, the 58 of Redmond, the 85 of Iliff, all moving over, and Martin chooses to go to the inside. Martin with Wyman right on the rear bumper, heading through turns 1 and 2. 85 of Iliff and the 85, the 58 of Redmond move over for the leaders. A little bit of a gap before they put the 95 of Averill down a circuit. Got the 07 of Orr slow on the inside of the track, heading through turn 3. Will make his way toward the pit road area. Crump on the inside of Shelmadine tries to take third. Still unable to do it. And up front, Martin leads. This a longer race for the Vors Welding and Steel Compacts than they normally have. Usually running 20 laps at their events here at Winchester. Today, additional 5 circuits. It will be 13 laps in, 12 laps to go this next time by for the 14 of Martin. Good clean racing for the Vors Welding and Steel Compacts in their makeup feature tonight after it was rained out last night. Martin leads at the halfway signal. 13 and 12 to go for Martin. Wyman, Shelmadine, Crump right on the rear bumper of Shelmadine heading into 1. Running 5th is Brown. Running in the number 6 position, the 44 of Bigelow. Oh, we got trouble down in the quarter. The 31 of Vester has spun and brings out the caution. Caution out for the 31 of J.R. Vester as he has spun down in turns 1 and 2. Green flag as the cars get up to speed in turn number 4, and into the lead goes Martin, and Crump will take over second. I watch Crump now as he works on Martin at the front of the pack. Crump was extremely fast in qualifying and looks to back it up in the race and pick up his 3rd win of the year. And for the lead, here comes Crump. Crump on the inside of Martin takes the lead in turn number 3, and just like that, from 4th on the restart to the lead 1 lap later. Kyle Crump, the Michigan driver, is out front in the season championship race for the Vors Welding and Steel Compacts. For second, here comes Wyman. Wyman to the inside. Wyman to the inside now of Martin, takes 2nd place away. And now he'll have his work cut out for him, racing the youngster, the number 7 of Kyle Crump. Crump has been outstanding in the latter stages of this compact season in CRA. Picked up the win at Lucas Oil Raceway a couple of weeks ago and looks to pick up another one here this weekend. Kyle Crump looking to move up into a different division of racing next year, continue his progress in his racing career. He is a pretty good wheelman. The 7 of Crump leading the 77 of Wyman, but not pulling away. Wyman staying with him. 7 to go. Final 7 circuits. The 77 of Wyman within 2 car lengths of Crump. Crump working his car hard to stay ahead of Wyman. Wyman to within a car length now. Half a car length. Wyman right there. 5 laps to go off of turn number 4. Final 5 circuits is a 2-man battle at the front. He has caught him, but the next question is can he pass him? That's a whole different story here at Winchester with the outside lane preferred, and Crump is going to protect it up there. Wyman up the banking a little bit, gives up a car length or 2. We're down to the final 3 circuits this time by. Kyle Crump, the leader in the number 7 car from Brighton, Michigan. The Optima Battery Dodge leading with 3 circuits to go. Slower traffic ahead. Iliff moves to the low side. So will the 95 of April, and the 24 of Teagarden will be next to go down a circuit. Will Teagarden move over to the inside? The 13 of Shelmadine running in the 4th position. Make it the 4th position. Looks to be on his way to a championship if he doesn't have any mechanical issues and makes it to the finish. Becoming to the white flag, and Wyman is within a car length again. The final circuit upcoming in this Vors Welding and Steel Compact Season Championship 25-lapper at Winchester. Last lap is here, and Wyman thought about going to the bottom, and the 90 car was there. The 90 of Jeff Hopkins moving over to the bottom, and Crump holds on to the lead, middle of the backstretch. To turn number 3, racing to 4, Crump is there. Here comes Wyman looking low to the checkered flag, and Crump picks up the victory. Wyman 2nd, finishing 3rd Martin, 4th, but claiming a championship is Shelmadine. The 33 of Brown finishes in the number 5 spot, and a word with our top finishers in a little bit. A driver from Brighton, Michigan. This young man has put together 3 wins in a row. Let's hear it for Kyle Crump. A lot of racing yet to go our way. Second place finisher, good run for the 77 of Jacob Wyman. Brian Martin coming home third in the 14, and Shelmadine claiming a championship in a top 5 in the number 13 car. How about our CRA officials able to get the sign open? Let's hear it for them. Picking up the victory, Kyle Crump. What a great finish to the season in compact competition this year. Congratulations.
Oh, yeah. I was looking in my mirror that whole time. Jacob was right behind me. That was such a great race. I was so scared he's going to get me at the end.
I know you have some plans for next year. Not quite sure what you're going to do yet, but a great way to finish off your compact career, at least in 2011. A lot of solid finishes, a top 3 in the point standings. Great job.
Thanks. Yeah, I got to thank all my sponsors, Amsoil, Simpson, K&N, and Defender, also Optima Batteries.
Kyle Crump, let's hear it for him. The driver of the number 7, the winner of the feature in the compact division. The 8 car of Dean Cook wasn't able to qualify, starts from toward the tail of the field. Dean Cook in car number 8, the 2011 Bearfield Speedway late model champion. Rounding out the field, the final starter, the 29, with a crash earlier tonight and taking scratch, Roger Northrup Jr. from Niles, Michigan, C&M Masonry, JC Properties, Ross Racing, Chevrolet, and we are ready for green. 50 laps the distance for the Sullivan RV CRA late model sportsman. Terry Cater from Anderson, Indiana. Casey Spillers from Fort Wayne bring the field to green in turn 4. Side by side, they exit turn number 2. Cater and Spillers close to making contact. Middle of the back stretch, it's going to be Cater taking the advantage. Spillers fighting back, but it's going to be Cater leading lap number 1. Cater, the lead into turn 1, up, scraping the wall with Spillers. Parker third, 4th is Barkus, 5th is Sullivan. High-speed action in the Sullivan RV CRA late model sportsman. Leading the way is Terry Cater. Spillers leading a pack of cars that are hungry challengers and challenging for position. Jason Atkinson, the number 7 car on the bottom groove, racing with Chad Richardson. Bobby Sibla on the move in the bottom groove. Sibla in the 42 car running the inside lane, now goes back up into the normal groove, drops in line to the 42. Sibla, who's been fast here at Winchester the last couple of events, makes another run at the 20 of Rick Sullivan. Leading is Cater in the 4. Second place is Spillers, the 38, and Parker to the bottom. Mark Parker in 72 to the inside of Spillers for the runner-up spot in turn 3. Parker moving forward, 5 down, 45 to go. Mark Parker pulls up door to door with Spillers coming off of 2. 4-car battle, 2nd through 5th. Sibla joins that battle. Also moving forward, Atkinson and Eckhoff on the low lane. Terry Cater, the Anderson, Indiana driver, has built up nearly a straightaway lead over that huge battle of cars, the pack of cars in turn 3. Spillers and Parker side by side for 2nd. Sibla goes back to the outside lane, goes back to the bottom in turn 1. Bobby Sibla trying to make his way to the front. And Parker again sets another challenge up for the 38 of Spillers. Sibla involved in a practice crash yesterday with the 20 of Sullivan. Sullivan had spun in 1 and 2, and Sibla had nowhere to go, slammed nose first into the nose of the 20 of Sullivan. Sullivan kind of closing the door on the 7 of Atkinson going into turn 1. Atkinson in the 7 and the 17 of Sturkowitz, the 2 involved in the points battle for this division in this final race of the season. Parker still working hard on the 38 of KC Spillers. 50 of Barkus running fourth, the 42 of Sibla fifth. Battle for sixth. Atkinson will take the spot away from Rick Solomon, who has fallen to seventh. Running eighth is Eckhoff. Ninth is Richardson. 10th, the 66 car, driven by Nate Walton. We have completed the 1/5 mark. 10 in, 40 to go, 11 in, 39 to go at the line. And that huge lead for Cater, he can put it in cruise control for a while and save some equipment. He's had some good finishes here on the high banks in the past. And Sibla makes a run at Barkus for fourth. Bobby Sibla and Barkus get together as Sibla closed the door a little too quick on Barkus on the backstretch. They continue on though. 12 laps down. Top qualifier Damon Eckhoff to the inside now of Eric Barkus, and Eckhoff up a position. Damon Eckhoff up to sixth. Sibla is on the move. Bobby Sibla in the 42 on the move in the inside groove. Slides sideways up alongside Parker, will take third. Sibla picking them off one at a time, but a couple of the quick qualifiers. The 7 of Atkinson and the 15 of Eckhoff right behind. Closing on slower traffic of Segovich, Sibla, and Spillers go by to the high side. Again, that's the battle for second between Spillers and Sibla. Cater has over a straightaway lead right now. 15 laps complete, 35 to go, and Sibla mounts a challenge, and the challenge has nearly paid off, and does. He takes second away from Casey Spillers on the front stretch. So move Bobby Sibla into the second spot. Slight contact with the wall for the 66 of Nate Walton. He loses a couple of spots but continues on. And now it's Newcastle, Indiana driver Jason Atkinson running the bottom lane, picking up spots, or trying to pick up spots on the inside of Mark Parker. That would be for fourth. In second is Sibla. Running third is Spillers. Running fourth is Parker. Fifth is Atkinson trying to move forward. Not picking up a lot of spots right now is Sturkowitz in the 17. The points leader has lost some ground to the points runner-up Jason Atkinson, but Atkinson sliding sideways through 1 and 2 will lose a spot himself. Last time by, Sibla was 0.15 quicker than Terry Cater, so he's not closing all that quickly. This time by, he gains a 1/10.5, another 0.15. So Sibla is quicker, but a big lead built up for Cater. He would probably like a caution. That would close that gap quickly, but Cater and the Motion Motors, number 2, has a huge lead. Cater in turn number 3 will be coming to the completion of lap number 20 this time. 30 laps to go for the number 2 of Terry Cater. Second place, Bobby Sibla. Running third, Damon Eckhoff. That's a car that we have to keep our eyes on. Eckhoff, that time by turning the quickest lap on the racetrack, the 15 of top qualifier Damon Eckhoff. He'll click off some quick laps now as he has a little bit of gap in front of him to close on the 42 of Sibla. As Cater continues to lead, not much of a difference in times that time, and here comes Eckhoff to the inside. Eckhoff looking low on Sibla for second off of 4. Bobby Sibla in car number 42 now has Eckhoff to the inside. Eckhoff looking for his first CRE Sportsman win at Winchester. We've got a sideways car in 1 and 2, and it's going to bring out our first caution of the race, the 8 of Dean Cook. The number 8 car of Dean Cook has brought out caution flag number 1 with 22 laps in. 22 in, 28 to go, closing on the halfway mark. Rich Segovich has taken his ride pit side. So yellow out for Dean Cook. Quickest car on the track, the top qualifier in the 15, Damon Eckhoff. 3 laps from halfway. Field picks up the pace. They're to the green in turn number 4. We are back underway. Cater stays in the lead. Sibla drops into second. Eckhoff running third, Spillers in fourth in the battle for fifth. In turn number 3, Barkas on the high side, Atkinson on the inside lane. Sibla glued right to the rear bumper of the number 2 of Cater, but it's going to be Damon Eckhoff to try the low side. Eckhoff looking low on Sibla, heading to 3. Sibla might try the outside of Cater in turn 4. 3-car battle with the front of the pack. Sibla goes up the track, gets sideways. Eckhoff will easily take second away from Bullet Bob Sibla Jr. Halfway this time by. 25 in, 25 to go for the race leader, Terry Cater. Eckhoff looks to the outside. Cater closes that gap. Now Eckhoff will look to the bottom. Goes to the inside. Into turn number 3. Cater on the outside of Eckhoff. They come off of turn number 4, and Damon Eckhoff is the new leader at lap number 26. Completion of 26, and Eckhoff is out front. Sibla moves by Cater as well and takes second. Running third, Cater now. Fourth is Spillers, and fifth is Barkas, trying to move up back in the field. Points leader and a former champion of the series, Keith Sturkowitz. Jason Atkinson right in front of him. Those two battling for the points title, and right now Sturkowitz has it in hand. He's only one spot behind his nearest challenger in the championship chase. Atkinson on the low lane. On the outside lane, the 50 car of Eric Barkas. He's still been able to get the run that he needs to get by for the number 5 position. 5th, 6th, and 7th. As they work on lap number 30. Damon Eckhoff, without any mechanical issues, will put this field away. Big lead he's already built up on Bobby Sibla. Eckhoff leads, Sibla second, Cater third, Spillers fourth, Barkas is 5th, 6th is Atkinson, 7th is Sturkowitz, 8th is Parker, 9th is Hanna, 10th is Richardson, running 11th Walton, 12th is Steve Blair, 13th Dean Cook, 14th Rick Sullivan, and 15th Chris Parker. Parker on the lead lap, as well as Joe Woodring in the 51 final cars on the lead lap, is the 11 of Vonderow, but he's not far from going a lap down. A lot of cars getting ready to battle for the number 5 position as they start to stack up in turn 3. Atkinson goes to the inside of Barkas, and right behind him, the 17 of Sturkowitz, the 68 of Hanna, the 72 of Parker, and the 46 of Richardson. Eckhoff and Sibla running close to the same lap time there. It was an 18.232 for Eckhoff and 18.202 for Bobby Sibla in the second spot. They're all by themselves at the front of the pack. Cater with a several car length gap between he and the 4th place car of Casey Spillers, running 5th, back several car lengths is the 50 of Eric Barkas. It was 15 to go that time, 35 complete. Lap number 36 goes on the scoreboard at Winchester. Trouble on the backstretch. Mark Parker in the 72 car slides toward the infield, and we have caution number 2 in the Sullivan RV CRA late model sportsman event. So Mark Parker in the 72 spins, but I think unharmed. Was able to get it woed down, locked up before he hit the inside retaining wall on the backstretch. Mark Parker from West Liberty, Ohio. Coming to green. The Sam Pierce Chevrolet Pace truck drops into the infield. Sibla, who was running close to the same lap times before the caution as Eckhoff, will come to green in turn number 4, but Eckhoff, the preferred groove of the outside lane. Gets underway, pulls back out ahead. Casey Spillers looks like he might move into second. Sibla, and he rubs some paint down in 1 and 2. And Sibla will hold on to second. Rubbin is racing for those two drivers down in turns 1 and 2, and Sibla holds on to the runner-up spot. Fourth, third, Jason Atkinson and Casey Spillers. Third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, and a few more cars joining that battle. Eckhoff and Sibla getting away from the field. Spillers, hungry pack of challengers behind him. (17) of points leader Keith Sturkowitz working the bottom groove. Lap number 39 at the line for the 15 of Eckhoff, and Sibla looks like a solid second place run coming up for him, as long as he or Eckhoff don't have any problems. Atkinson for third now to the inside of Casey Spillers. For the third position, Jason Atkinson to the inside of Spillers. Leads the field into turn number 3 with that sizable advantage, one of his biggest leads of the race. 8 laps to go for the Greenfield, Indiana driver over the Massillon, Ohio competitor Bobby Sibla. Terry Cater on the low side. Oh, look out in turn 2. Jason Atkinson able to steer out of it. They continue on as Atkinson and Cater got together with big contact in turn 2. Atkinson loses a position or two, but able to keep on going in the right direction. Great save by those two competitors. 6 laps to go for Eckhoff. USA Modified 50-lap feature brought to you by Schoenfeld Headers coming up next. Oh, Bobby Sibla fighting an extremely loose condition, coming off a 2, nearly spun it. He's all by himself in second. He should maybe woe her down now and just try to salvage a second place finish here. All by himself, running between first and third. Spillers is third, Cater is fourth, and running fifth, the 17 of points leader and very possibly point champion Keith Sturkowitz. Three to go, 47 complete at the line. 3 to go for Damon Eckhoff. Bobby Sibla Jr. in second. Running third, Casey Spillers. Running fourth, Terry Cater, and running fifth, the 17 of Sturkowitz. Oh, man, sideways was that number 2 of Cater coming off of 2. That's going to allow the 17 of Sturkowitz to go to the outside. He doesn't want to take any big chances here, though, as it looks like he has the championship, his second of his career clinched. White flag for Damon Eckhoff. He heads to turn 1 into 2 all by himself. A straightaway lead, looking for his third win of the season in the Sullivan RV CRA Late Model Sportsman Division. He has been stout as of late. From Greenfield, Indiana, the winner tonight, Damon Eckhoff. Second spot to Bobby Sibla. Finishing third in a battle will be Spillers. Sturkowitz right beside him in fourth. Fifth was Cater. Sixth to Atkinson. Seventh to Hanna. Eighth to Barkus. Ninth to Walton. And 10th to Blair. Our top 5 finishers on the front stretch. After a fairly clean Sullivan R&V CRA Late Model Sportsman 50-lapper, USA Modifieds with 30 cars in the starting field coming up next. Second Sullivan R&V CRA Late Model Sportsman victory in a row. Let's hear it for Damon Eckhoff. Damon, congratulations, another win. This one coming on the high banks. You won a couple at Lucas Oil Raceway this season, but it means a lot, I'm sure, to win with this strong field of cars in front of a good full grandstand here at Winchester.
Yeah, it's a great feeling. First off, I gotta say happy birthday to my mom. I love her so much. Glad she's here to root me on, and got to say thanks to my great crew. Did a great job. My spotter Steve, you know, my crew chief Phil, everybody.
You've been really able to figure something out in this late model sportsman car. You want to make that transition to the Super Series. You're running here this weekend in the 400 as well. You think you'll be able to take some of the setup off of this and transfer it to the other car?
Nah, probably not. We're just working on comfortability for that, just because it's 400 laps. It's a nutrition race, really, you know. So
try to be there at the end tomorrow. Good run tonight. Good luck tomorrow.
Yep, thanks.
Damon Eckhoff, your winner of the Sullivan R&V CRA Late Model Sportsman 40-lapper.
Ossian, Indiana's Terry Fisher Jr., the number 28 machine, car normally piloted by Scott Coe, starting on the pole alongside the veteran out of Edgerton, Ohio, the number 10, Bud Perry. Multi-time winner here at Winchester Speedway, multi-time series champion, or track champion down at the Shady Bowl Speedway, multi-time champion up at the Spartan Speedway in Mason, Michigan.
Yeah, and for Bud Perry, this was his first season ever competing full-time with the main event racing series. And he now starts on the outside of this race after claiming the championship in that division this year, running a modified this weekend. White flag is out. Next time by, Matt, to the green we will go. We have had some fairly clean racing action so far. The modifieds now with 30 solid competitors on the track racing to the finish. 50 laps from now. Green flag action with a 28 of Terry Fisher Jr. and the number 10 of Bud Perry, a member of the Ohio Posse, starting on the outside of row number 1, and Matt Preer bring him to green.
Pace car pulls onto pit road. They come out of turn number 4. Green flag is out, and we are racing.
Underway for 50 laps on the high banks of Winchester as they head into turn number 1. Into the lead goes Bud Perry, dropping into second Fisher. Third is Reeser. Fourth is Axum, and running fifth in a battle. Top qualifier on the inside is Harold Scott.
Leader of lap 1 is going to be Edgerton, Ohio's Bud Perry, the number 10 machine. Terry Fisher Jr. settling into that second spot.
Springer running in the 5th position, and now here comes Fisher, starting to challenge for the lead at the front of the pack. Fisher in the 28 car, arriving for Scott Coe this weekend, drops to the bottom in turn 4, side by side for the lead. Perry will lead lap number 2.
Scott Reeser running solidly in 3rd, the number 22. He's got a bumper full of Joe Axum in the number 42. Brad Springer solidly in 5th, battle for 6th. Scott Thomas second to 7, Harold Scott in the 96.
Your leader, Bud Perry, comes off of turn number 4. Across the line, leading the 28 car of Fisher. Leading the 22 of Reeser, the 42 of Axum, and the 61 of Springer. And again for the lead. Here comes the 28 of Fisher to the bottom. And he doesn't go in quite as hard as Perry, who stays out front.
Perry carrying that momentum around the high side. Continues to lead, the number 10. Battle for 3rd now. Scott Reeser on the outside. Joe Axum on the inside. The number 42. Behind them, Springer and Tomasek.
Former American Modified Series champion, the number 12 of Chad Poole, has pulled pit side. Steve Minnick in the 37, also off the pace and dropping into the pit. Lap number 5 on the board, that time complete, and Fisher again mounting a challenge. Great run off of turn 2 for Fisher.
Terry Fisher Jr. to the inside of Bud Perry as they make their way out of turn number 4. They're side by side. Perry to lead that lap.
Perry again stays in front of the 28 car of Scott Coe, driven this weekend by Terry Fisher Jr. Joe Axum running 5 car lengths back in the 42. Reeser running 4th. Springer, his hands full. Here comes Tomasic to the bottom for 5th.
And from 14th, we talked about him earlier, Trevor Berry now in the top 10. He's running in the 9th, challenging Brian Nestor for the 8th spot.
Yeah, Berry looking strong up the outside lane. He closes on the 11 of Nestor, looks to the outside of the winner of the All-Star Dash earlier for the Modifieds. Berry working hard in his first ever Winchester appearance.
Terry Fisher Jr. with a good run in the number 28 machine. He dies once again at the bottom. The number 10 of Bud Perry. Steve Rollins off the pace in turn number 3.
As Rollins drops off and looks to take his number 68 ride to the pits. The lead battle continues with Perry pulling ahead again. Fisher in second. Axum a couple car lengths back in third. Reeser off the pace in the 22. 2 or 3 drivers go by as Jones, Nestor, Yelton, and the 7 of Berry get to the inside.
Rob Yelton in the number 32 machine has worked his way up. But up front, Bud Perry continues to lead. Terry Fisher Jr. second. Joe Axum has caught your 2 leaders going into 3 and 4.
Also problems for top qualifier Harold Scott. He drops off the pace in the 96. He had a great weekend, at least the way it started earlier today. Setting fast time, was really good in practice, but the top qualifier, Harold Scott, the 96, has slowed. We are on lap 12. Leading is Perry. He has Fisher all over him, and the 42 car of Joe Axum right behind him in third.
Top 3 cars nose to tail going into turns 1 and 2. Bud Perry in the 10. Terry Fisher Jr. again to the inside. Coming out of turn number 2, they head to turn 3.
Fisher nearly pulling wheel to wheel this time. He can't quite keep the momentum enough to get a run past the number 10 of Bud Perry. The lead trio being closed upon by the 61 of Springer and the number 7 of Scotty Tomasic. Jones running in the 6th spot, Nestor 7th, Yelton is 8th, Reeser 9th, and Berry is 10th.
14 laps completed this time by 36 laps to go. It is Bud Perry continuing to lead the number 10. Terry Fisher Jr. searching high, searching low, trying to come up with a way to get by that number 10 of Perry.
Side by side for the lead position. Fisher working hard. What a battle the fans are watching this Saturday evening as the lead battle has been from the start of this race to now the completion of lap number 15. Caution coming out for the first time in this USA Modified. Schoenfeld headers run for the gun 50 lapper. Yellow for the first time. 15 in, 35 to go.
Something we noticed with the USA Modified Series, Adam, single file restarts for the Modified Tour. We've been used to the double file restarts throughout the evening, but USA Modified is running under different procedures, different rules. We'll go into the standard single file on the restart.
That's the way the USA Modifieds have been running for a long time and not wanting to take any chances that actually might help save a little equipment at times. So a lot of the fans like the double file restarts, but already some of these drivers go double file as soon as the green waves, as we are back underway. And the lead duo of Bud Perry and the 28 of Terry Fisher Jr. build up a huge advantage over Joe Axum on the restart.
Almost like Joe Axum got caught napping on that restart. Now he's starting to pull away a little bit from the 4th place spot car, the 61 of Brad Springer, but now Springer has a bumper full of Brian Nestor in the 11.
Brian Nestor right there, the driver in the number 11 earlier tonight, picking up a dash race win for $600 for the USA Modifieds, and he is right behind the 61 of Springer. He has lost a car length or 2 through 1 and 2. Jones behind him, followed by Yelton and Berry. As we move into the top 10, oh man, a couple of cars, Tomasic and Bainbridge, nearly go around at 1 and 2.
And it's been all race long. Bud Perry continuing to lead the number 10, and he's got a bumper full of Terry Fisher Jr. Fisher continues to search for a way around that edge Edgerton, Ohio driver. He's still got a lot of time left, though, as they come by this time. 19 in, 31 to go.
Rob Yelton in the 32 car in a little bit of trouble. He's caught on the bottom now as Perry looking to the outside of him, positioned just out of the top 5. They follow Kyle Jones around the track, and Barry sideways had to check up a little bit. He went to the outside of Yelton, and contact was nearly made. Jeff Lane picks up a position in the Ed Martin 26.
Kyle Jones on pit road in the number 2 machine. Tough break with Germantown, Ohio driver.
So with Jones pit side, that shuffles our top 10 a little bit, and Bud Perry continues to hold off. The 28 of Terry Fisher. Terry Fisher Jr. all over the number 10. You can tell he's one of the fastest cars on the racetrack, but just can't get the run and hold the momentum he needs to make the pass on the leader. Lap 22 at the stripe this time.
Bud Perry running a line where he's very comfortable, forcing Terry Fisher Jr. to search for a way around your race leader. Back in the field for 4th, the 61 of Brad Springer, the 11 of Brian Nestor continue to duke it out for that 4th position.
First, second, and third closing on one another as Axum has been able to cut down on the gap that the first 2 had on him. They go around USA Modified point leader Jonathan Martin, who's definitely not up to speed in that car. As the 10 of Perry leads with Fisher second, Axum third. The battle for 4th now between Nestor, who's on the inside of Springer.
Just shy of halfway this time by. 24 laps completed, 26 laps to go. Bud Perry has led all 24 laps thus far. Terry Fisher Jr. throwing everything he's got at the Edgerton, Ohio driver this time by halfway home.
Crossed flags this time. 25 in, 25 to go for the Edgerton, Ohio driver, a member of the Ohio Posse, Bud Perry. He leads with a 28 of Terry Fisher Jr. second. Bumper to bumper as they exit turn number 2 and head down the backstretch. We look through the top 10, and one of the battles that we see continuing to develop is Trevor Barry racing with Rob Yelton to the inside in turn 4.
Nestor finally escapes the 61 of Brad Springer. Now he's got his fishing pole out, trying to reel in your top 3 drivers, beginning with the 42 of Joe Axum, who's in that last podium position in 3rd. But up front, Perry and Fisher continue to battle.
Rob Yelton holding on to 6th. Trevor Barry in the 7 car running 7th, but now has pulled alongside Yelton. And here comes Jeff Lane, the veteran driver from Knightstown, the 2011 CRA Street Stock champion, racing with Barry and Yelton for a spot in the top 10. And again, the lead battle side by side off of 4.
Bud Perry again to lead that lap in the number 10 machine. Terry Fisher Jr. continues to search for a way around. But now the 42 of Joe Axum, the 11 of Brian Nestor now catching up to your top 2 competitors.
Axum has actually dropped a little bit of distance as now he has to protect for 3rd. The 11 of Nestor is there. He goes to the outside. I think Axum just gave him the spot.
Brian Nestor around the outside. The number 11 machine makes short work of Joe Axum. Now he'll try to reel in your top 2 drivers.
Around the outside for the 11 of Brian Nestor in the 3rd position. Up front, it's the 28 car of Terry Fisher Jr. working on the 10 of Bud Perry. That's been the way it has started in this race 30 laps ago. And now at lap number 30, it continues with Perry doing everything he can to protect the lead position.
Perry not only has to deal with Terry Fisher Jr., but now he's got to deal with Brian Nestor, who has caught your top 2 drivers. Fisher again to the inside. Nestor trying to figure out which driver to follow to go into 3 and 4.
Oh, Fisher gave up the outside, and here comes Nestor to the bottom. So Fisher is going to have to work hard to use the inside to get around the 10 of Perry, or it's going to be over for him. And right now, he has fallen back into the 3rd spot. Nestor, fastest car on the track in that 11, up to 2nd. He leads Fisher in his dust. And now only one driver between him and a run for the gun championship.
As they've done many, many times throughout their stellar careers, Bud Perry and Brian Nestor duking it out for the lead. But Terry Fisher Jr. not giving up just yet. The 28 car, lap traffic now in front of your leaders. Caution flag in the speedway.
Tim Burkett caught up in the number 14 car, winner of one of our last chances. The number 1 of Oakley had spun on the front stretch, and I think Burkett was collected in the number 14. But the one of Brandon Oakley, I think this is just our 2nd caution. Amazing racing action, this USA Modified. Schoenfeld headers, run for the gun 50 tonight. 30 cars started the event. Just a couple of drivers have fallen out of the race with mechanical issues. The one of Oakley has stopped looking the wrong way coming off of turn number 4.
Just amazing here with this 40th annual Winchester 400 weekend. celebration nonetheless, with this being the 40th anniversary. And my goodness, 190 cars in 6 divisions here in Winchester, Indiana. Drivers from all over the country, a couple, 1 or 2 from Canada. My goodness, it's been a great weekend so far, and it continues as Bud Perry leads them out of 4. Green flag's out. We are racing.
Bud Perry brings the field across the line as they race on lap number 34. Perry gains a 4-car length advantage on Brian Nestor coming off of 2. Let's see if Nestor reels him back in, heading to 3. Nestor pretty good middle of the corner. Perry doesn't look bad himself out front.
Not at all, as Bud Perry leads the field into turns 1 and 2. Terry Fisher Jr. now on the back bumper of Brian Nestor, searching for a way around Nestor for that second spot.
Well, Brian Nestor was one of the quickest cars on the track, but he's a little bit slow after this restart. Lap number 35 on the board, and Fisher actually challenging Nestor a little bit. Nestor's car might take a few laps to come to him as he'll pick up the speed maybe on a longer green flag run.
Back in the field, battle for 4th, the 42 of Joe Axum, the 61 of Brad Springer. Behind them, the 32 of Rob Yeldon, the 26 of Jeff Lane, as the 22 of Adam Hudson calls it a night. Tough race for the LC Michigan driver.
Former competitor of the Sullivan R&V CRA Late Model Sportsman Division. He's raced modifieds the last year or 2, and he takes his ride to the pits a little early, and Nestor is now closing on Bud Perry with 13 laps to go.
Yeah, it takes Nestor. It seems like it takes Nestor's car a couple laps to get going, but once he gets going, look out, and now he is on the back bumper, the number 10 of Bud Perry.
Might not be bad if Perry can hold him off for a few more laps here. If he can get another caution and reset the restart once again. Perry definitely looks to be better on the shorter runs, and Nestor a little bit better once they get up to speed, but Nestor has caught Bud Perry, and he's to the rear bumper, heading to turn number 3 as the moon rises above the trees in turn number 3 at Winchester Speedway.
Terry Fisher Jr. with the best seat in the house as he watches the battle between the number 10 of Bud Perry, the 11 of Brian Nestor. Next time by, they'll see the 10 lap to go signal. As they make their way through turns 3 and 4, it's 40 laps completed, 10 to go.
A trio of cars at the front of the pack with 10 laps remaining. Right on the rear bumper of Bud Perry is Brian Nestor. Hard to put a piece of paper in between the two as they came down the front stretch, and Bainbridge drops his ride into the pits. He's done for the night, and Nestor nearly making contact with Perry heading to 3.
Nestor takes a peek to the inside, nothing doing, but Perry slams the door coming out of turn number 4.
Closed the gap on the bottom of the track, did Perry. He doesn't want to leave the top open, but he doesn't want to leave the bottom open either, as Perry has led lap 41, 42 complete this time. 8 circuits to go. Nestor looking to the high lane of Bud Perry on the front stretch. He's up side by side with him heading to turn 1.
My goodness, Brian Nestor on the outside, Bud Perry on the inside. They're side by side going into turns 3 and 4. Terry Fisher Jr. trying to figure out which way to go.
A bold move for Brian Nestor in the number 11 car. He takes the lead, and Bud Perry has dropped into second. Here comes the 28 car of Terry Fisher Jr. 6 laps to go this time for Nestor. He starts to pull away from Bud Perry.
Flying Brian Nestor, showing why he earned that nickname. Going around the outside here on the famous high banks in Winchester Speedway. He takes over the lead, and he's got a little bit of a gap now between himself and Bud Perry, who's got a bumper full of Terry Fisher Jr.
Nestor leading the event by several car lengths over Perry now. Fisher is in 3rd, 5 laps to go. Axum 4th, Springer 5th. Running 6th is Yelton. 7th is Lane. 8th is Stacy. 9th is Barry. And 10th is Brad Yelton. 11th is Breedlove. 12th is Carroll. 13th Burba. 14th Step. We've got the 2 car of Martin, the 15 of Stearns, the 22 of Reeser, still out there racing as well.
Brian Nestor running away and hiding from your 2nd and 3rd place cars. The number 10 of Bud Perry, the 28 of Terry Fisher Jr. This time by, 47 in, 3 to go for Nestor.
Fisher tried to pull off the same move on Perry coming out of turn 4, but he got up in front of him just in time. Now Fisher goes to the bottom of Perry, off of 2. He's protecting, trying to get that 1-2 finish at the front of the pack. 2 laps to go this time for Brian Nestor.
48 laps completed, 2 laps to decide it. Brian Nestor with a couple lap cars distantly in front of him. Shouldn't play a role in the outcome of this race as he goes into 3 and 4.
Brian Nestor off of turn number 4, coming to the white flag. Final circuit for the number 11 of Nestor. Perry, Fisher, the 42 of Axum and the 61 of Springer, first through fifth in this one, and Nestor's lead is at a half straightaway as he enters turn number 4.
On a turn number 4, checkered flag in hand, your winner for the run for the gun 50, flying Brian Nestor takes the win. Bud Perry comes home in second, Terry Fisher Jr. third, Joe Axum fourth, and Brad Springer rounds at the top 5.
And just as he finishes the race, the 88 of Step looks like he explodes a motor coming across the line as heavy smoke came from the 88. This 50 lapper complete. And Brian Nestor pulled off a bold move. An amazing move for Nestor in the final 10 circuits to go outside of his buddy, his friend, Bud Perry, pulling up on the front stretch, believe claiming a championship, but also congratulating Nestor on the victory is Jonathan Martin in the number 30 modified, Bud Perry claiming the second position in the number 10 car, and the 28 of Terry Fisher Jr. finishing a strong third, but he just could never get the run he needed to get out front. Had he got out in front, he might have had a chance to hold off the 11 of Nestor, but man, was Nestor good on the longer green flag runs. It took him a few laps to get up to speed, but after he did, it was all said and done, and a bold move on the outside of Bud Perry to claim the victory. Let's head trackside. Matt Preer with the race winner, Brian Nestor.
Thank you, Adam. He's getting ready to climb out of the car. Your winner of the run for the gun 50, flying Brian Nestor. Brian, just a great job out there. Congratulations. You guys will get ready for another race here in just a little bit. But first of all, Brian, tell us about the run. Tell us about that great move on the outside of Bud Perry.
Took about 3 laps for the car to come in. It was tight, and that's what I was waiting for, the Bud to take the bottom, and he did it. I said if I won this gun, I'd retire, but I think I'm lying.
You're lying. I tell you what, we were talking. Adam and I were talking about it upstairs in the tower for all the Speed51.com radio broadcast fans. How many times have you and Bud Perry have duked it out, not only here at Winchester, but anywhere else around the Midwest? My goodness.
Yeah, I tell you what, Bud's my best friend, and I wouldn't want to race with anybody but him. You know, we run side by side, didn't touch or anything, so it's great.
Brian, real quick, thank you. I know you got some folks you want to thank, so go right ahead.
Yeah, I got to thank Tim Burkett. Wasn't for him, I wouldn't be here or anywhere else. Hartman Auto Body, and everybody that came here to help me this weekend, because the car wasn't real good to begin with. It ended up good.
Ladies and gentlemen, your winner of Run for the Gun 50% by Schoenfeld is the 11, Brian Nestor.
Matt Preer and Adam Mackey bring you the action here at Winchester for the Saturday night portion of the 40th running of the Winchester 400 race weekend. Not far away from this field taking the green. So far tonight, we've had some good patience shown by a lot of drivers. Good, clean races, not a lot of equipment tore up. There's a lot of youth, a lot of inexperience, a lot of drivers that haven't raced here, a whole lot in the high banks. Hopefully the race won't change to what we've seen earlier tonight. Some great racing action and some clean racing action.
A very diverse field, to say the least. Age ranging from as young as 15, who ironically is one of them is our points leader, the other is our rookie of the year, all the way to the age of 51, Eddie Hoffman. So a diverse field, a talented field of future stars, rising stars, and established veterans as they get the 1 lap to go signal from Chief Starter Brian Duncan.
The rolled up green flag into the air above the field as they roll across the finish line. The 76 of Griffith and the number 7 of Deach on our front row. Downey and Braden in row 2, and again Jones and Snyder in row 3. Jackson and Bush in row number 4. Great qualifying lap for Lauren Bush earlier in the 101 car. I remember when she made her first appearance here at the High Banks a year or two ago in a late model sportsman car. She was off the pace. She's learned a lot since then. We're ready for green coming off of 4.
Wes Gifford Jr., Jason Deach lead him out of 4. Chief starter Brian Duncan, green flag in hand, and we are racing.
The 7 of Jason Deach into the lead in turn number 1 as the Edgerton, Ohio driver set sail. That Edgerton, Ohio area having some success tonight already with Brian Nestor winning a couple of races, and now Deach is out front with Braden second and Snyder in third.
That outside row went in a hurry. Jason Deach the lead lap 1. Travis Braden, the 17-year-old from Wheeling, West Virginia in second spot. Trent Snyder, a winner this year down at the Anderson Speedway in third.
Tight action between Brent Downey and series point leader, the 4 of Eric Jones. They came close to sliding up into the wall in 1 and 2, and they were real close to making contact on the backstretch. They continue to race, though, and now Jones goes to the bottom of Downey for a position just out of the top 5.
Travis Braden all over the back bumper of Jason Deach in the number 7 machine. Debris over in turns 1 and 2. That's going to bring out the first caution flag of the evening.
That caution comes out for debris in turns 1 and 2, just as Braden was mounting a challenge at the 7 of Deach. 3 laps on the scoreboard, 97 to go, and Braden, who was starting to challenge Jason Deach before the caution, is now pulled up alongside of him. They head into 3. The field's told to pick up the pace. They come to green off of 4. We're back underway, and this W&M Manufacturing Pure Matte Plastics 100 presented by Jags.com for the CRA All-Stars Tour brought to you by Jags.
Danny Jackson around the outside of Travis Braden. That's for second spot. And here comes Eric Jones in the number 4. He got by Trent Snyder for 4th. Now he's working on Jackson for 3rd.
On the outside, Jackson running side by side with Braden. Jackson started this race in the 7th spot. He's picked up some big positions already over the first 4 circuits. And here comes Jones to the bottom of Jackson for 3rd.
Up front, Jason Deach continues to lead the number 7. Braden hanging on a second. Here comes Trent Snyder around the outside, the 88. Who looks like trying to get by the 4 of Jones for 4th.
Snyder will move into the number 4 position. Jones in 5th. Can now get back up into line in front of the number 1 car of Coughlin, Cody Coughlin, who was clipped earlier right at the end of the warm-up session by the 40 car of Brian Ross. Looks to be running okay.
Back in the field, Chad Finley started 14th. He's already up to 7th. The AutoParts2020.com Ford, as he'll look to go to work on the number 1 of Cody Coughlin as the 08er Tommy Cook calls it a night.
Cook knew something wasn't right with his car. He elected to start at the tail of the field for this race and now has called it an evening. He pulls into the infield as Deach leads. Car still bottoming out. Sparks flying heavily through the turns. 8 laps in, 92 to go as Deach leads Braden. Running 3rd is Jackson. 4th is Snyder, and 5th is Eric Jones.
Now back in the field as well for the number 30 of Jeff Foltz, who gets by the 2 of Brian Nestor, who just got done winning the USA Modified Series race. The 26 of Nathan Russell calls it a night. Tough race for the Kerwinsville, Pennsylvania driver.
And a change for the lead just like that. Travis Braden in the 0-1 from Wheeling, West Virginia has gone into the top spot. Oh, trouble off of 2. Look out. Oh, just clipping the 72 then of Wooden as he locked up the brakes and knocks off the left front of Nelm's car. You could see it coming, Matt. I was like, please get it turned left. But Wooden was unable to do so. And the 11 of Nelms collects him with the left front. Nelms went down the banking, slid sideways, came up the track, clipped the wall, and then collected the 72 of Tom Wooden. Yellow for the second time, 9 laps in, 91 to go, and some exciting racing up front.
And Braden electing the outside groove, forcing Jason Deach to the inside on this restart. The CaughlinCars.com pace car pulls on the pit road. Jason Deach with a jump on a turn 4, green flag.
7 car of Jason Deach has been told he needs to allow the 01 car of Braden to pull back up alongside. Now once Braden pulls back alongside, Deach will be allowed to go. Deach had to wait on Braden after he jumped the start a little bit. That's why Braden pulled back out ahead, and Braden will lead lap number 10.
1/10 of the way through, 10 laps completed, 90 laps to go. Travis Braden out in front, Danny Jackson out the second. Trent Snyder gets by for 3rd. Now Jason Deach falling into the grasp of Eric Jones, and here comes Chad Finley in the 42.
Not only Chad Finley, but Jeff Foltz in the 30 is on the move. The Troutman, North Carolina driver drives to the inside of the Jags.com number 1 of Cody Coughlin, racing just out of the top 5. And a 42 of Finley on the move as well, much like he was at Lucas Oil Raceway.
Finley would much rather forget the last time he was here at Winchester Speedway back on August the 20th as he barrel rolled down turn number 3. About 3/4 of the way through that race. Looks like nothing scaring that DeWitt, Michigan driver.
Car that has been struggling during this race, that of the number 25 of Brent Downey. He has fallen deep into the mid-pack portion of the field. He started this race in 3rd. Downey comes across this time in 10th. Not quite the run that he wanted in that 25.
Up front, Travis Braden continues to lead in the 0-1. Danny Jackson 2nd. Trent Snyder in 3rd. Car off the pace in turns 3 and 4. That looks to be the turn 1 high-performance steering Chevrolet. Saginaw, Michigan's Jeff Roethlisberger Jr. off the pace in the 0. Tough break for Roethlisberger.
Roethlisberger getting ready for his game tomorrow for the Steelers. 15 laps in at the line. Oh, a different Roethlisberger, I believe, as Braden leads this one. Danny Jackson 2nd, Snyder 3rd. Running 4th, the 7 of Deach, and the number 4 of Jones in the number 5 spot. 6th is Finley. He's fallen back a little bit. Cody Coughlin running 7th. Pulling alongside of the 8th position is Jeff Fultz again. And the 76 of Griffith and the 25 of Downey holding on to top 10 spots.
26 of Nathan Russell off the pace again as Braden runs around the outside of him through turns 3 and 4, putting the Kerwinsville, Pennsylvania driver another lap down.
And Braden starts to stretch his advantage over the 45 of former pole sitter for the 400, Danny Jackson, 2nd generation racer. His father, Dave, competed with the ASA series when they competed many years, and right here at the Winchester Speedway.
Trent Snyder running in the 3rd spot, the 88 machine. Limited appearances for the driver out of Glen Ellen, Illinois. Originally called Ironton, Minnesota home. Brian Ross on pit road. Tough break for the Plymouth, Indiana veteran.
He was involved in a crash right at the end of the warm-up session before the start of the race today, and that damage has obviously been too much for him to continue much past lap 17. 19 completed that time for Braden. His lead at 6 car lengths over Danny Jackson.
Battle for 4th between the number 7 of Jason Deach, the 4 of Eric Jones. Jones following Deach's tire track all over this half mile. Now he takes a P to the inside, coming out of 2.
The 4 of Jones working on the 7 of Deach down in turn number 4.
21 laps completed, 79 laps to go. The 17-year-old from Wheeling, West Virginia, Travis Braden. Oh, we got trouble on turn number 4.
Kenny Kirsch in the 52 car has taken the off-road excursion down through the grass on the lower portion of the racetrack. Kenny Kirsch in that beautiful number 52 going off the speedway and bringing out a caution with 21 laps in. They come off of turn number 4. Pretty good restart. And we're back underway with 21 laps in.
Travis Braden out in front of the 01 machine. Chad Finley to the inside of Jason Deach as Eric Jones got by Deach. Now Jones challenging Trent Snyder for 3rd.
Jones on the low side, Snyder on the outside lane. They follow the 45 of Jackson, who runs in the 2nd spot. By way of the transponder, the 4 of Jones credited with 3rd across the line. Jones slips back now into 4th. Snyder taking 3rd back on the high lane.
Up front, Travis Braden continues to lead. Danny Jackson riding 2nd, the 45. Trent Snyder in that 3rd and final podium position in the 3rd spot. Jones in 4th, Finley in 5th.
Travis Braden leads the field into turn 3. 24 will go on the board this time, just 1 lap away from the 1/4 mark of this race. Drivers giving and taking a little bit. Their single file formation. Oh, look out. Mike Stacy up into the wall. He got some contact from the 76. The 76 with some contact for Stacy as Griffith and he got together, and it looks like Stacy off the pace is going to be heading pit side as soon as he can get down.
Stacy trying to get down at GM Enterprises number 5 machine. Unfortunately, oh, he's going to stop right there in turn number 4, and the caution flag will fly.
Yellow out for the number 5 of Mike Stacy. He drew some contact from behind. It was the 76 of Griffith. Got into turn 1 a little too hot. Jackson pulls back up along the inside. Braden on the outside lane as Snyder runs the inside of row number 2 with Jones on the outside. This is a chance for Jones to pick up another spot if he can. Coming off of 4, back to the green. And Jones will go to the outside of Danny Jackson for the 2nd spot. Oh, contact contact. Look out, more contact. Jones up into the wall. Foltz gets through. Cars pile in. Here's the big one coming off of turn number 2 that drivers will try to avoid tomorrow. That was the 45 of Jackson and points leader Eric Jones. Is Jones' car going to be okay? The damage looks to be minor. It would be amazing if his car would be okay. It looked like he was sure to wad that 4 car. Snyder in the 88 pick up the pace heading to 3. They go into turn 4. The 88 of Snyder may be getting a little bit too bit of a good start, and now the 01 car Braden does pull alongside at the line. Braden goes into the lead. Snyder will fall into second.
And right away, Jeff Foltz to the inside of Jason Deach. That is for the 4th spot. Give 4th spot to the Troutman, North Carolina veteran.
Foltz is on the move in the race. He had a problem getting that car up to speed in practice and qualifying, but Jeff Foltz has been solid here in race trim. He's running 4th, and lap number 27 complete this time at the line for the Wheeling, West Virginia driver Travis Braden, 0-1.
Back in the field, Eric Jones has already passed a couple cars, and he's ironically right on the back bumper of Eddie Hoffman. That is a battle for the 14th position.
Jones' car looks to be just about as quick as it was before. We'll see how it settles out and how patient he is trying to come through the field. He has to watch in case there's some contact or anything happens in front of him, but looks to be in a pretty good, oh, and there is some contact in front of him as Oakley and Hoffman door slam on the front stretch.
Up front, Travis Braden continues to lead in the 0-1. Trent Snyder searching high, searching low, trying to figure out a way around the 17-year-old from Wheeling, West Virginia.
The 2 cars pulling away from Chad Finley, Jeff Foltz and Jason Deach. Brandon Hermiller drops to the bottom, looks to the inside of the Jegs 1 of Cody Coughlin.
Braden and Snyder, 1 and 2 as Snyder following Braden tracks down the backstretch into turn number 3. Finley has escaped the grasp of the number 30 of Jeff Foltz, and he'll try to reel in your 2 leaders.
Braden and Snyder, several car length lead, nearly half a straightaway advantage over the 42 of Finley. Finley looked good coming through the field, but right now doesn't look to have anything for the top 2 unless he's saving it for a little bit later. They complete lap number 32 this time for Travis Braden and the 88 of Snyder.
The 0 Jeff Roethlisberger Jr. continuing to log laps. He goes another lap down in that turn 1 high-performance steering system Chevrolet. But up front, Braden continues to lead. Trent Snyder all over the back bumper of the 17-year-old.
1/3 mark of this race complete, 1/3 the way home. 33 laps in the book. It'll be 34 this time. Braden leads, Snyder second, Finley third, 4th is Foltz, 5th is Deach, running 6th is Downey, 7th is Smith, running 8th is Coughlin, 9th is Hermiller, 10th is Griffith, 11th Jenkins, 12th is Oakley, running 13th currently is Hoffman, 14th Watson's number 9, the 4 of Jones is there, the 33 car of Novak still out there racing, the 101 of Busch, the 0 of Roethlisberger, and the 52 of Kirsch.
Braden now opening up a little bit of a gap over the Glen Ellen, Illinois driver Trent Snyder in the 88 as Travis Braden will lead lap 36.
The lead duo stout right now, ripping off some fast laps currently. 16:496 for the leader that time, a 16:457 for Snyder, who's running in the 2nd spot.
Back in the field, battle brewing for the 4th spot. The 30 of Jeff Foltz, the 7 of Jason Deach. Deach has been yo-yoing back and forth throughout the top 5 and the top 10. Currently in 5th, chasing down the 30 of Foltz.
Still a lot of sparks come out from underneath the bottom side of the number 7 of Jason Deach as that car really down on the racetrack, bottoming out through turns 3 and 4 especially, and now Jack Smith losing a spot or 2. Coughlin to the outside. Here comes Hermiller, the 76, and also 3 wide back behind them as Jenkins, Hoffman, and Watson are there.
Johnny Jenkins, the number 21 machine. He started 23rd. He's currently running in the 12th spot. That Travco construction machine, Jack Smith off the pace in the 28. Tough break for the Medina, Ohio veteran.
Jack Smith in the Irvine Machine 28 car looks like he might be making his way to pit road. A scheduled starter in tomorrow's 400 as well. So hopefully the problem's not that severe for Jack Smith in a 28.
Travis Braden now opening up a bit of a lead over the 88 of Trent Snyder. A half second that last lap as they come by this time. 42 laps completed, 58 laps to go. The lead increases to 0.6 seconds.
He is definitely pulling away on long runs. We noticed earlier he did the same thing, separating himself from a second place car. This time it happens to be Snyder, who is really good as well, but just not quite good enough to challenge Braden, who's in a groove on this long green flag run.
And look who's appeared in the top 10 for the first time today. The LisaThomasSalon.com Ford from Wheaton, Illinois. The number 8 of Eddie Hoffman. Now in the top 10 in the 10th spot.
Meanwhile, his point challenger, the point leader, the number 4 of Eric Jones, has 3 cars in front of him before he can see the Lisa Thomas Salon number 8 of Hoffman. And 2 of those are side by side. It's Watson on the inside of Oakley. Oakley loses a spot and might lose another one. Here comes Jones to the bottom.
Jones got by Jenkins. Now he'll get by Oakley as well. Give 12th spot to the number 4 of Eric Jones.
Closing on the halfway mark of the race. 46 have been completed now by Travis Braden. Some slower traffic ahead. First up will be the 52 of Kenny Kirsch, then the 101 of Lauren Bush, and the 33 of Novak.
Braden was nearly a second lead as he makes his way out of 4 to complete lap number 47. A full second lead now on the 88 of Trent Snyder, as Snyder has nearly a 4.5 second lead over your third place driver, the 42 of Chad Finley.
Braden working around the 0 of Roethlisberger, close with a 52 of Kirsch. Not a lot of room there. Oh, and close again coming off of 2. Kirsch now does move over to the inside. Braden can be a little bit more patient than that because he's built up a decent lead over the second place car of Snyder.
Now Braden looks to go to work and put a lap on the number 101 of Lauren Bush. He'll go to the inside as they head into turns 3 and 4. This time by Chief Cutter Brian Duncan showing the halfway signal. We're halfway home. 50 in, 50 to go.
Boy, Braden working hard through lap traffic. Oh, and he slides up in front of the 33 of Novak. That was tight. The 01 car of Braden went to the inside. Now the 88 of Snyder also working to the inside of Kirsch. The leader, Braden, pushed up the banking right in front of Novak. They nearly made contact.
Braden now safely around some of the lap cars. He's got about 2 seconds or so before he gets to the next lap car. The 21 is Johnny Jenkins, who's currently running in the 14th spot. 14 cars remaining on the lead lap.
101 of Lauren Bush not giving a lot of room to the 88 car of Snyder. She's already been put down a lap, and Snyder being held up a bit by the slower traffic. He does now get to the outside of Bush heading into turn 3. Lap 53 complete for Travis Braden in the 01. Next on his list to go down a lap, the 21 of Jenkins, the 51 of Oakley.
And looking down the running order, 18 cars remaining on the racetrack. If one more car drops out and it's not Eric Jones, Eric Jones is going to have a career night.
17 positions was the difference if Hoffman could pick up a win, and Hoffman is racing the number 6 of Hermiller down in 3 and 4. Next on Hoffman's list is the 76 of Griffith, the 25 of Downey, and the 1 car of Coughlin. Hoffman right now finds himself in the 9th position, but only 2 spots back, the 4 of Eric Jones.
Brandon Hermiller rounding out the top 10, the number 6 machine. Now he's got a bumper full of Eric Jones, who's starting to feel a little racy here past the halfway point.
45 to go, make it 44 to go for your leader. Travis Braden working on the 21 of Jenkins. Jenkins led many laps at the main event 24 at Columbus Motor Speedway a few weeks ago. Thought that he was going to have a real shot at the main event victory, but he wasn't able to claim it. And now Downey racing the number 6 of Hermiller for position in the top 10.
Up front, Travis Braden carefully negotiating around the 21 of Johnny Jenkins to put him 1 lap down. Braden looking to the inside, but Jenkins not quite giving up that position, wanting to stay on the lead lap.
A couple of drivers that have called Columbus Motor Speedway their home track In the past, Jenkins picked up a top 5 in points at Columbus Motor Speedway several seasons ago, as well as a couple of feature wins in the Outlaw late model division. Close call in the front stretch as Braden tries to get by Jenkins. Jenkins came down off of the wall, and Braden starts to squeeze by now in turn number 2. Gives Jenkins room. They're still wheel to wheel heading to turn 3.
This time by, we are 3/5 of the way through this event. 60 and 40 to go. Braden still trying to get by Jenkins as Jeff Foltz on pit road in the number 30. Tough break for the Trauma, North Carolina driver.
Jeff Foltz, who was really around the top 5 here in the early to mid stages of the race after a big run through the field in the early laps, has now fallen out of the event, at least for the time being, as he's on pit road. The left side of the hood is up as Braden has been able to clear Johnny Jenkins, and Braden has clear track ahead. The 9 of Watson has dropped off the pace again.
And with Braden has so much difficulty getting around the 21 of Jenkins, that allows the 88 of Trent Snyder to close the gap. Now less than a second. It was over 2-second lead just a few laps ago.
Braden has not had clear distance like this for a while. He's been fighting in lap traffic and has been really close to some damage a number of times.
63 in, 37 laps to go. Travis Braden continues to lead in the 0-1. Trent Snyder riding second in the 88. Then some 6 seconds back, running in the third spot, the 42 of Chad Finley. Fourth is the number 7 of Jason Deach. And now in the top 5 for the first time tonight, the 15-year-old from Delaware, Ohio, Cody Coughlin.
And Coughlin's on the move. He has just taken the 4th spot away from Deach, and now will set his sights on a car that's over a straightaway ahead, the 42 of Finley, as he will try to pull away from the 7 of Deach, 76 of Griffith, and the 8 of Hoffman, who has Jones right behind him with 35 to go.
And with Foltz and Watson pulling off the racetrack, that leaves only 7 to 16 cars remaining on the racetrack.
That's good news for the Byron, Michigan driver, Eric Jones. Jones needed a 17 position gap. It's really what Hoffman needed if he won the race to claim the championship, but he needed to stay within 17 positions of Hoffman right now. Jones is running just well enough after the mishap a little while ago. He's right behind Eddie Hoffman, keeping him in his sights.
And that's all he needs to do at this point with how many cars remaining on the racetrack. But up front, Travis Braden, your leader. Trent Snyder quickly closing the gap. Only 0.6 of a second now behind Braden.
And Wheaton, Illinois driver past Eddie Hoffman has dropped off the pace. Jones goes around. Here comes Hermiller, as well as the 51 of Oakley. Something going astray in the 8 car of Hoffman. Did he lose a cylinder?
Tough break for the Wheaton, Illinois veteran. The LisaThomasSalon.com Ford is well off the pace. Matter of fact, your leader, Travis Braden, going to put the lap down. They come on 3 and 4.
Unbelievable. The 25 of Brent Downey, one of the favorites for this race, has gone down a lap to the leader, Travis Braden, who threaded the needle there on the backstretch. He came up on the 25 of Downey. They had the 8 car of Hoffman on the low side, and he went right between them. Snyder closed the gap to about 10 car lengths. 29 laps to go for Travis Braden.
8 cars remaining on the lead lap as Braden continues to show the way. Snyder in second, some distance behind, about 6.5 seconds behind in third, the 42 of Chad Finley. Now Hoffman is on pit road.
Looking good for the championship. The number 4 of the youngster, Eric Jones. Now he can put that aside and start to race again. He just picked up a spot from the 7 of Deach. You can move Jones up to 5th.
Nothing to lose now for the Byron, Michigan teenager in the Paragon Corvette Reproduction Chevrolet. He is now back in the top 5. He's got some distance though to reel in the Jeg.com Chevrolet fellow 15-year-old Cody Coughlin.
Trying to look at the lap times by the number 4 car of Jones. This time with clear track, he was able to turn a 16.633, which I believe was the fastest car on the track the last time around. Eric Jones, now that he knows the championship looks to be in hand, can put it back on with his race face and try to get to the front. He's in 5th.
Nothing to lose now for Jones. And to that matter, nothing to lose for Cody Coughlin in the chase for the Howie Liddell Memorial Rookie of the Year title presented by Howell Racing Enterprises.
The 3/4 mark complete, 75 in, 25 to go. Rolling in turn 4 with 24 laps remaining is Travis Braden.
8 cars remain on the lead lap. Eighth place is the HS Dine Engineering Chevrolet from Walker, Michigan. The 6 of Brandon Hermiller, who's working on the number 7 is Jason Neach. And Cody Coughlin having some trouble with some lap traffic. Eric Jones now on his back bumper.
Kirsch, and Jones is ready to make a move as Kirsch in the 52 and the 33 of Novak are side by side right in front of a couple of lead lap cars. Jones, let's see if he makes a bold move here, trying to get around the number 1 of Coughlin, who's been strong in the second half of this race, but nobody right now quicker on the racetrack than the number 4 of Jones. If Jones can get a caution, he is a threat to win this race.
No doubt about it. And ironically enough, as Jones tries to get by Coughlin, only about 3 seconds behind is your leader, the 0-1 of Travis Braden.
Braden pulling off some quick laps himself, a 16.709. Snyder is 16.678. Man, they are still putting a blistering pace on this Winchester Speedway. 80 laps in, 20 laps to go. And heavy traffic for Travis Braden, really heavy traffic. He's got the 6 of Hermiller, and in fact, Braden gets sideways in turn 2, hanging on to it. Let's see if Snyder can reel him in here.
On to turn number 4, battle for the 4th spot. As the 4 of Eric Jones looking to the inside of Cody Coughlin. They go into 1 and 2.
Jones trying to pick up the number 4 position, rolling down the backstretch. Braden's been able to make it by Hermiller and Deach. Now Braden works around the 33 of Novak. He's got around a few of the lap cars that we thought might give him a problem. Snyder still has to work by him. He might get held up a little bit now. Jones cannot clear the 1 car of Coughlin so far. 17 to go next time around, and the battle for 4th continues.
6 cars remain on the lead lap. Your 6th place driver is your pole setter, the Gorilla Glue Lors Motorsports Ford, Wes Griffith Jr. We got a car off the pace in turn number 3.
And also the 01 car of Braden has slowed a little bit. Braden in the 01 car lost a lot of ground through turns 1 and 2. He nearly got up into the wall. He continues on. Car looks to be okay. Let's see how he maneuvers 1 and 2 this time. Just fine. Braden back up to speed.
Johnny Jenkins calls it a night. The Travco Construction number 21. This time by will be 85 laps completed, 15 laps to go, 15 laps away from the biggest win of Travis Braden's career.
Coughlin still holding off the 4 car of Jones for the number 4 position. They've been able to gap the 01 car of Braden a little bit after he got sideways. And Coughlin just strong enough to protect that outside lane and hold off the Paragon Corvette reproduction number 4. A 76 of Griffith just really slowed coming off of turn number 2, and Braden will work around him.
And Griffith was running in the 6th spot. Now we're down to 5 cars remaining on the lead lap. The next car to potentially go a lap down on the lead lap is the number 4 of Eric Jones.
76 of Griffith, though, has slowed on the front straightaway. Don't know whether he'll make it around to the pit road. And there's 12 laps to go as they come across the line. Griffith's going to turn left down into the grass, I believe, to get off of the raceway. And we might be able to keep it under green. We will.
And Jones was able to get by Cody Coughlin finally for that 4th spot. Jones in the 4, up the 4th, Coughlin to 5th.
Don't know how it happened because we saw the cars look like they were slow at the bottom of the track on the backstretch, so there might have been a little contact take place there.
Travis Braden trying to go after his first career win, the Jeg Sierra All-Stars Tour. He's 10 laps away, 90 in, 10 laps to go. 5 cars remain on the lead lap.
Braden working on the number 52 of Kirsch. Kirsch moves over to the bottom of the raceway. Kirsch moves over for the leader, Travis Braden, 9 to go. Final 9 circuits. Braden out front, way by himself. Snyder in the 88 car, little over half a straightaway back, close to a straightaway. Running 3rd, Finley in the 42 car. He's some half a track back from the leader. Over half a track back is the 3rd place car. Running 4th, Eric Jones in the number 4, and in 5th in the final car on the lead lap, the Jegs number 1 of Cody Coughlin.
And Braden has Coughlin in his sights, this time by 93 in, 7 to go, with a 17-year-old from Wheeling, West Virginia. 7 laps away from victory lane.
Braden in turns 3, working to 4, closing on the 5th place car of Cody Coughlin. See if Coughlin moves over and lets him go by, or if he gives him a little bit of a challenge trying to stay on the lead lap. Right now, Coughlin still running up in the racing groove. Braden is there, but Braden can be patient here. Again, he's nearly a straightaway ahead of Trent Snyder, who's in second. 5 to go.
Braden now right on the back bumper of your soon-to-be crowned 2011 Rookie of the Year, Cody Coughlin, in that Jegs.com Chevrolet. As they both look to negotiate around the 51 of Brandon Oakley as they come out of turn number 4. This time by 4 to go for Braden.
And if Braden's spotter is using his head, he can tell him he can follow Coughlin to the checkered. He would be still quick enough. As Coughlin, definitely no slouch in this race. He's got a fast car running in the number 5 spot, and Snyder's still far enough back where it's not going to matter.
There's about an 8-second gap between your second place driver, the 88 of Trent Snyder, and the 42 of Chad Finley. It's about another 3 seconds back between Finley and the 42 and the 4 of Eric Jones, who is in 4. 2
laps to go for the Wheeling, West Virginia driver Travis Braden. An amazing 2011 season he has had at Kilcare and Columbus Speedways in Ohio. He can really cap it off with a big victory today if he can make it a little over 1 lap from now as chief starter Brian Duncan waves the white into the air. Final circuit for Travis Braden.
The 17-year-old is a half-mile away from the biggest win of his career. He did. He must have followed your advice, Adam. He let Cody Coughlin go. Let it get ahead a little bit. Braden will lead him on a 4. Checkered flag in hand. Your winner's going to be Travis Braden. Second spot, the 88 of Trent Snyder. He'll come out of turns 3 and 4 out of 4. Third place, the 42 of Chad Finley. And your 4th place driver, 2011 Series champion Eric Jones.
Eric Jones, one of the final 2 cars on the lead lap, finishing as the final car on the lead lap, the 1 car of Cody Coughlin. We have the winning 50-50 number coming up. The winner of this race is going to draw the 50-50. They will be taking it trackside in a moment. Point champion for the Jegs CRA All-Stars Tour, presented by GM Performance Parts. By way of his 4th place finish, a smart move to take his car to the pits, work on it, make sure it was okay after the contact. The number 4 of Eric Jones pulling to the front stretch. Snyder with a 2nd place run in the 88 car, Finley a 3rd place run. In the 42, the 1 of Coughlin finishing 5th and rolling to the front stretch with a victory, his first on the JEG CRA All-Stars Tour. Travis Braden with him in moments. Matt Prier, take it away.
Thank you very much, Adam. I'll tell you what, this young man's won 13 features this season between Columbus and Kilcare, but I pretty much guarantee the 14th feature win is the biggest win of his career. It's the 17-year-old from Wheeling, West Virginia, 2011 Columbus Motor Speedway track champion, 2011 NASCAR Wheeling All-American Series Rookie of the Year and winner at Winchester, Travis Braden. Travis, I tell you what, young man, I don't know if anyone could have asked for a more perfect rookie season behind the wheel of a late model than you. Columbus Motor Speedway track champion, NASCAR Wheeling All-American Series Rookie of the Year, and a feature winner at Winchester Speedway. How does that sound?
It sounds awesome to me. I mean, what a great place to win a first CRA race and only a 3rd start, but I can't hardly, I'm not dizzy just from running so many laps and I'm not used to this stuff, but man, what a fun race, and I can't thank my guys enough. I can't believe we were this fast, and I just can't believe we even did this, even came close to it. So, you know, less than 6 months ago, I didn't even know these guys, any of them, so it's just crazy to come this far in 1 6-month period. So I can't thank everybody enough, especially car owner Gary Estes, Seneca Performance, of course my parents, my whole family supports me through all of this. It wouldn't be possible without every single one of them, so thank you. Thank all the fans. Thank all the fans.
I think it's safe to say, Travis, of Columbus, Kilcare, and Winchester, I mean, 14 feature wins, my goodness. And it's just an unbelievable job, and to win on fun Winchester 400 weekend.
I mean, we unloaded pretty decent, and we was pretty fast, and I'm thinking, man, if we get a top 5, that'd be a really good first Winchester experience and a really good experience in a CRA race. And then we was thinking, well, maybe we can get a top 3. And then we're thinking, well, heck, we can win this thing, and we sure did. So, man, I just can't thank everybody enough. The whole CRA sanctioning body, everybody makes this possible. Thank you.
Your feature winner tonight from Wheeling, West Virginia, the 17-year-old Travis Braden.
This one underway for the CRA Street Stocks, brought to you by Edco Welding, Schaefer and Myers across the line. J.J. Schaefer on the inside of Josh Myers in turn number 2. Schaefer goes into the lead. Myers just trying to hang on to second. Wow, close call for Tom Gosser. He got out of shape coming off of 2, dropped all the way to the bottom of the track, and he's finally now getting back up to speed. 3 wide on the front stretch. Oh, Carl Muffley and Winston Wood. Muffley slams the wall. Wood goes around sideways. He will then collect the 29 of Gosser, collected in the 29 car. And caution is out with 1 lap in and 49 to go. Ready to roll for green, coming off of turn number 4. J.J. Schaefer on the low side, Josh Myers on the high side, 1 in, 49 laps to go and a good restart. Coming off of the 4th turn, Josh Myers in the number 5 goes into the lead, heading into turn 1, trouble in front of the field. They'll pile them up in the first corner, many cars involved, and caution and red will come out going into turn number 1. Heavy damage to several of the automobiles. We see Mason involved. We see Parham down there. Robert Amos Jr., Frankie Oakes, Joshua Carroll pulling away from the scene. Danny Smith in the 2 is stopped. He's starting to back up. Jason Drummond in the 77 is there. Reidner in the 96. The 50 car. The 50 car of Barkas. As you see Mason from the 33 and Hadley in the 12 talking things over. Mason got out of his car pretty quickly. Ready for a restart, 1 lap in, 49 to go. We're back underway. The number 5 of Myers goes into the lead, heading to turn number 1. The 95 of Hopkins joining him in the 2nd spot. Jason Thompson's car looks to still be strong. The top qualifier from this weekend in the 28 car, racing for a top 5 spot now, just 1 spot out in 6th. Leading lap number 2 will be Josh Myers in the number 5. Myers has a challenger coming from the inside. The 95 of Newcastle, Indiana driver Brian Hopkins. Hopkins racing with Myers for the race lead. Jimmy Kirby makes it a 3-car battle with the front of the field. Kirby right there in the 3rd position. 4th. Thompson on the inside of Parham. Move Thompson up to 4th. His car looks to be just fine. And Hopkins again challenging for the number 1 spot. It's Kirby going to the outside for 2nd. Jimmy Kirby to the high lane of Brian Hopkins. Close, tight racing on the backstretch. Oh, Thompson closing rate was very fast into turn 3. First through 6th and a lead breakaway. Running 7th is Smith, 8th is Amos, 9th is Poor, 10th is Hadley. 11th, 12th, and 13th in the battle. That's Carroll, Oaks, and Segvich. Jason Thompson to the inside of Brian Hopkins for the number 2 position. Coming in to complete lap number 7, Myers leading, but Hopkins and Thompson challenging to the low side. It will be Hopkins leading at the line. Contact coming from Myers. They continue on into turn number 1. Some pretty heavy contact between the two at the front straightaway as they headed in to turn number 1. And now Myers is right on the rear bumper of Hopkins. Thompson looking for a way around. Jason Thompson to the inside of Myers for second. Kirby within striking distance, but it's going to be Thompson taking second away from Myers. Tries to slide up in front of him and does on the front straightaway. Jason Thompson, top qualifier, up to second. Just one more driver between he and the lead. The 95 of Brian Hopkins. Thompson stronger through the corners. Hopkins maybe a little stronger down the straightaway. Hopkins pulls away a little bit on the straight chutes, up to a couple of car lengths heading into turn number 3, and then going through the middle of the corner. Boy, Thompson takes it right up along the outside retaining wall. Had to check up in turn number 4, loses a car length or two. The battle for the number 4 spot. Parham on the inside takes 4th away from Josh Myers. Next on Parham's list, the 11 of Kirby. Schaefer and Danny Smith there as well. Two-car breakaway. Brian Hopkins and Jason Thompson. Thompson getting a good run through the middle of 3 and 4. Closing to the rear bumper, but not able to pull alongside quite yet. Hopkins up the track, Thompson looking low. Number 15 this time. 15 laps complete, 35 to go in our Edco Welding CRA Street Stock Season Championship feature. Thompson rolled right up to the rear bumper of Hopkins in the middle of 3 and 4. Car a little better, a lot better really, through the middle of the turns. Closing on slower traffic. Frankie Oaks in the 26. Rich Segvich in the 91. Thompson looking to the outside. Hopkins will slam the door shut. Thompson sideways entering turn 1, car a bit free, which he would need to make a run to the inside of Brian Hopkins. So far he hasn't been able to do so. Goes into 3 high, ducks to the low side in turn number 4, and Thompson challenging for the lead, not quite yet. Again to the bottom, side by side for the lead. Thompson, best run so far, but Hopkins, the big thumper underneath the hood of the 95 car, pulls back ahead, but Thompson will clear him down in turns 3 as Hopkins drops back to second. Kirby is now third, and Jason Thompson leads lap number 18. Rich Segvich in the 91 has gone down the circuit. And Segvich locks him up going into turn 2. He loses a right front wheel. Wheel coming off of the right front of Segvich's 91 car. And Josh Poor will clip it, and the wheel back up the banking it goes. Sam Pierce Chevrolet Pace Truck pit side. Jason Thompson, the leader, the top qualifier this weekend, looking for the victory with 21 circuits to go. We are back underway at Winchester for the Edco Welding CRE Street Stocks. Hopkins gives him a pretty good room into turn number 1, and Hopkins will take over the lead again. Hopkins back out front, so Thompson unable to hold on to the lead for more than a lap. That restart helping Brian Hopkins out. He's now out front in the driver's seat. We're halfway, 20 laps in, 20 laps to go in this shortened feature for the Edco Welding CRE Street Stocks. Parham takes it right up along the outside retaining wall. Here comes Josh Myers in the 5, looking to the low side of Danny Smith for 5th. Two-car breakaway. Brian Hopkins putting a few car lengths on Jason Thompson. Thompson's car seems to have slowed a little bit from the green flag run previous to the yellow. Parham running 3rd. Kirby was 4th, got up nearly into the wall in turn number 2, and Danny Smith to the low side in the 2. Smith racing for 4th. He was involved in that first lap crash, really the second lap crash for the number 2 of Danny Smith. Had to change the radiator in the 2 as well as do some work to the front of that car, but it's running pretty well in the top 5 right now. Hopkins has pulled away from Jason Thompson. You wonder what happened to the 28 car of Thompson. It was so strong before the caution, and now his car has faded. Brian Hopkins has put nearly a half straightaway lead on Jason Thompson right now. 133 of Parham running 3rd, 4th Jimmy Kirby, and 5th the number 2 of Danny Smith. Hopkins continues to extend his lead up to a 2.5 advantage over Jason Thompson. The last time around they turned nearly identical lap times. This time Hopkins was better than Thompson. More laps to go for the 95 of Brian Hopkins. Closing on the 77 of Jason Drummond and the 26 of Frankie Oakes as they move over to the low side. Hopkins lead now in the 95 car up to 2.4 seconds. Continues to grow. Really unbelievable after Thompson had taken the lead on lap 18 and looked like he was going to run away with it. Joshua Carroll in the 19 car. Rolling down pit road. Parham trying to hang on to the number 3 spot, but he's got Jimmy Kirby and Danny Smith right there with 4 laps to go. .37 in, 3 to go this time for the 95 of Brian Hopkins. Final circuit, white in the air for Brian Hopkins. Jason Thompson crosses the line with a lap to go, 2.5 seconds behind the leader. Coming to the checkered, Brian Hopkins picks up the victory just on the final circuit. Kirby gets by Parham for 3rd. Danny Smith tries to come along. It's a battle for 4th. Thompson 2nd, finishing 3rd will be Kirby. Smith in 4th, Parham 5th. Coming home 6th is Myers, 7th is Hadley, 8th J.J. Schaefer, 9th Josh Poor, and 10th Robert Amos Jr.
If I have your attention in the grandstands, we need everybody to exit the grandstands. You will have to go outside the racetrack. As soon as we get everybody out, we'll bring everybody right back in with your tickets for today's Winchester 400. But everybody must exit the grandstands. We'll bring you right back in with your proper tickets for today's Winchester 400. The street stock race was a freebie due to last night. We appreciate you coming back.
We're ready.
We'll get you right back into your seat just as quick as everybody gets out. Thank you.
Ready to climb out and celebrate victory. The Hopkins Towing Driveway guys, A&M Plumbing, Bronze and Beyond car, Brian Hopkins. 2nd place, Jason Thompson. 3rd, Jimmy Kirby. Well, Brian, you normally try to get away without talking to me in the top 5. Today you win. That's a good thing. It's not too bad on a Sunday morning. Probably the earliest race you've ever won, right?
Yes, it is. I'm usually still in bed.
Yeah, it's a lot of us would be, I think, especially after last night. I'm sure a lot of people partied late, though maybe not as late as they normally would with the race today.
Yeah, I'm just glad it's over. It's been a long weekend.
Did you think you were going to be 2nd at best after Thompson got around you before the yellow?
No, I still thought I had a shot at him.
I mean, he looked strong. He came through the field. He passed you. Then on the restart, you got a good restart, and you pulled away down the stretch. You pick it up a notch.
Yeah, I think he picked up a push or something, and I drove away from him.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Brian Hopkins, the winner of the Edco Welding CRA Street Stock 50 today.